You're not gonna do anything. You gotta like say something or do something. Pretend that there's music.
I am waiting to make sure that we actually went live.
Oh my god! It went live. We just got the notice on YouTube.
Yep.
I'm over here being a goofball, like pretending like there's music. Like you gotta just like, woo.
Well, that's just you. That's you and your personality. So, what's up, everybody? As you can tell, we do not have Two-Wheeled Goon with us at this time. He is currently away at a work conference. They are torturing him with a severe lack of cell phone service and internet, so he wasn't able to join. He asked me to run it in the meantime, so... Hi! I'm Nothing at Random. I'm taking over the Two-Wheeled Goon channel for the evening. We are joined
He's
by...
the captain now.
We are joined by... To my right, we have Bruiser.
Howdy.
Diagonally down from me, we have Loose Juice.
Hey everybody!
And sneaking in at the last second, just waiting for the camera to be turned on, looks like the Mad Yankee.
You there, bud?
Oh, goodbye.
Just kidding.
Okay, what a tease. What a tease.
I'm sure he'll be back.
So, I guess start off in typical fashion, like Goon likes to do. How's everyone doing this week? Oh, there's Yankee in his beautiful face.
Heyo.
Yeah. So yeah. So we'll let you go first, Alex. How's everything going this week?
Oh, not too bad. I really wish this, weather that we have around here would break sometime soon because it feels like it just rains all the time. So, but yeah. So we're at that high from last weekend, though.
Oh yeah, coming home was a little rough. I was very sleep deprived. I had to have juice drive for a little bit, and then I had to come back to reality.
Kept falling asleep with the wheel on me. Good thing his car has all the auto assist shit. I kept having to be like, Aaron, wake up. That's a fact too.
It is. I'm not.
Dude.
I'm not going to deny it. If I were traveling alone, probably about 3 hours into the ride, I would have pulled over somewhere and took a nap. And that was, I think, right around the time Juice and I swapped too. Anyways, I saw that you went fishing. Was it yesterday? And you got a bunch.
Yep. I don't know if you can see the remains of my bass thumb going on there. They tore off my hand pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. It's a lake that I've been actually fishing since I was probably about 6-7 years old, something like that. And I actually, no joke, broke my personal best record.
That's good. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I know I'm not much of a fisher, but those seem pretty sizable from your pictures.
Yep, there's largemouth bass. I'm sure, compared to what a lot of the one of our lads down in Florida get, they're probably not quite as impressive because they got those giant monster bass down there.
That's fair.
But for New Hampshire, they're pretty good. I probably averaged like 18 inches, 3 pounds, and the biggest one was like around 20 inches.
I was gonna say anything over 3 pounds is
kind of skinnier for a bass. Yeah, no, definitely up here as well. So. Yeah, but no, that was pretty good. Managed to get out fishing a little bit, to go back to the gym 3 times this week, which was the goal that I had set. So managed to make that happen.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Bruiser, how's your week?
Now I wasn't at the camp out with you guys, but I had a lot of other plans. For the last several years, I've actually volunteered to help work at a music festival, basically being a glorified usher in the VIP area. That was great, worth all the pain. Got to see some amazing artists. If you ever get a chance to see Jelly Roll, do it. You will have absolutely no regrets. The man puts all his heart and soul into it.
I've heard that before.
Absolutely.
I can't say I've ever actually sat down and listened to his music, and like knowingly listen to it, but I'm sure I've heard plenty of it.
Yeah, he actually has a top 10 in both rock radio and country radio with the same song right now, which is never been done before.
Yeah, because he's a what is it called? Is it Southern rock or country rock? Is what he's categorized as.
You can't really pinhole him because he's got a lot of hip hop influence in there, and definitely rock, definitely country. I mean, he's a Nashville artist. Or he's from Nashville. He's not with a big label. He's kind of really done a lot of it on his own. But
he kind of like reverse Post Malone, didn't he? Because like he started out hip hop, but now has moved more country.
Something like that. Well, I think Post has moved more in a lot of ways outside of hip hop.
Yeah, he's like defining his own shit.
Yeah, but. Anyhow, dude's amazing to see live. Also, I wasn't looking forward to it, but it ended up being a really good show. I'm not a big fan, but Luke Bryan does put on a really good show, and he had a really funny. He spilled beer on himself, and the mark it left on his pants was pretty funny. And he called himself out on it later in the show, which was great.
I saw a picture of that.
It was a kind of a you had to be there moment, and I kind of hope it picked up some traction on the internet too. And then a really good friend of mine got married on Sunday. So it was a great weekend, and then the rest of the week has been kind of interesting since some bad news in my life, but we're taking it one day at a time, and we're dealing with it as it happens. So
yeah, I mean, it always sucks when you have an amazing weekend and you have to go back to the regular mundane Monday through Friday, and then you have bad news on top of it. Makes it rough, but taking it one day at a time, that's the appropriate method. And then I see that Mike and Steve joined us. Welcome.
What's going on, guys?
Not too much. Just going around, asking everybody how their week's been, kind of going through stuff. I think now we're on to Loose Juice.
Yeah, man, I would say this week was, I started off this week, as always, after a camp out trip, I'm always just like, I know it sounds dramatic, but I always just get fucking down in the dumps, dude. I always get like depressed is the right word. Of like, I had such a great time, it's hard to top that and then go back to work and work an 8 to 5 like I do. But throughout the rest of the week, I don't know, I also just felt like I took some good strides for myself, trying to clean up my diet. Aaron, you actually got me to start doing push-ups every day. So I actually started doing, other than one day this week, I've actually been doing push-ups every day, trying to build a routine, which is really, really difficult for me. I know some of you I talk with that about, but like, yeah, routines suck. Going to the gym regularly, I struggle to do that. But this week, step in the right direction. So started off sucky, ended it a little bit stronger. That's how my week's been.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Totally gonna make a clip of that later. That you're giving me the credit for all of that.
How many?
Yes, of course. Sometimes you just need that little push, and I needed it.
Yeah.
How many push-ups do you think you could do, like just right now, without stopping?
Without stopping, honestly, less than 20.
Oh.
Without stopping, but like, break it up into 5 sets of 5. Sure, if that's what it takes, if that's my starting point, I don't care. Like, I'll start there as long as I'm consistent with it. Routines are really difficult for me. I can't stress that enough.
Oh yeah, dude. It's just everyone's got a different starting point. Never compare yourself to somebody else. Like, I've always been terrible at push-ups, but then doing curls and stuff, I've always just jumped right in and been okay. It's just everyone's got something. Everyone's gonna work out differently.
Curls are fun.
But yeah,
push-up challenge coming.
No, especially not tonight.
But Juice, I think you need motivation to do these. So November is in the military. It's mow shave Movember. So in the military is what we call your intense workouts. For Movember, November is also suicide awareness for the military. It's veterans awareness. So through the month of November, I've done this for on YouTube and Instagram. Push-ups every day. Record yourself. Do as many as you can do every day. And you try to at least do 22 because 22 is the veteran suicide rate daily. Daily, 22 veterans die of suicide. And I try to do more and more every day through the month of November. And by the end of November, you would be very surprised how fast that number comes up. And you'll have some bad days, but literally once you start doing them, the next day it seems like you can do 4 or 5 more. The next day you can do 3 or 4 more. The next day you can do 2 or 3 more, but you're always doing more every day. And it's surprising how fast it actually goes up. So that would be all of our challenge. I challenge all of you guys. Steve, you're out of it. I already know you do push-ups. I saw you naked with a skateboard. The rest of you.
I was wondering if that was going to come up.
The internet saw Steve naked with a skateboard.
Full disclosure, we are not showing that on stream.
I will.
I will. Like, that might be my new ad. No, it's not up on Instagram anymore. So
I got a photo.
That was a hell of a Discord. I'm gonna say.
I was on the fence on that one. I was talking to Steph, and I was like, I got this board from Shay. It's signed by Shay Tree, David, and I got this idea, and I want to see how it looks. So we did some test shots just in the warehouse, and this was like the day before our massive container arrived. So it's like the last chance to take pictures of anything. And we took some test shots.
I'll say the one I saw, granted, I saw it like 2 days after it was posted somehow.
Probably by
It was great.
She actually
saved it. They saved it. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Ask
screenshots.
Josh, did you see that? He goes,
You just
"Oh,
wonder
yeah, I
what
did."
Cindy did with it.
The screenshots were definitely taken by people. No doubt about that.
Cindy's gonna do like she did with Florida Man. She's gonna have her wedding picture staring out the window, and she's gonna put Steve outside the window.
It'll be for this October for the 1 year anniversary. But all right.
Well, I've got a library that I had to choose from because she took like 50 shots just to get the light right.
Bry the biker says he's making posters of it.
Hell yeah.
I believe that.
It's very rock star, man. Like, it looks like, you were joking, I think maybe album cover, but like, it's definitely, it's up there. Like, you could do something really cool with that.
Absolutely.
Well, you say album cover, that's more of a jacket shot, if anything.
Well, real quick, Sydney snuck her way in here. So,
You know, the little paper sleeve you put the record in, not the cardboard, whatever.
So, hi, Sydney. Trying to slip in and be all,
Sid,
lucrative in the background.
Sid.
And she's gone.
No, she's not.
I like the hat.
Okay.
Nice hat.
I think mine's in the bike.
Quantico.
Yes. So, Rainey, we'll have you touch on how your week's been, and you can talk about what you're doing this coming weekend, or I guess next weekend.
Yep. So yeah, this week has been pretty rough. Lots of sun, lots of bike breakdowns. Surprisingly, I found out something about the Sportster. Everybody's been knowing all my videos. I've been had great days on the Sportster, and then days the Sportster just won't start. What I found out today is I went on Harley's website, and probably the number one question on the Harley Parts website is how many cranking amps is this battery? And it's not in the description of their battery, of the OEM battery. It's not in the forum. They won't answer the question. The only question I'll answer about the battery is, yes, it's a AGM. People are asking, well, is that lithium? Is that this? It's an AGM. Well, those that don't know what an AGM is, it's a regular lead acid battery, but it's sealed. But Harley won't answer that question. What I finally found out was the battery that comes in that bike is a 225 cold cranking amp battery. The engine was designed to have a 240 cold cranking amp battery to start it. So 225 is just enough to make it grunt and turn over, but only for about 6 months to a year. And after that, the battery just dies. It will not stay charged.
For the Sportster.
For the Sportster. So I went up today and bought Dennis Cargay went and bought a 270 amp battery. So that should be here next week. I'm a little pissed at Harley for underselling that battery. I've even had it replaced. I've had that battery replaced under warranty, because I went up there and I said, "There's nothing wrong with this bike," and the battery just won't start it.
I bet you
It's
they
a
designed it like
cost
that.
thing.
Oh, they designed it to break, just like a lot of Harley things, because they know. Here's my thing on the Harley. They know you're going to replace half the things on it, so a lot of the things they put on it are very high tech. The energy, the engine and the transmission and the drive and all that. But the things like the headlight, the turn signals, that kind of stuff, the battery, the stuff they know you're going to change, they just put junk on it because they know you're going to change it anyway. The bars, the seat, garbage, because they know you're going to change that stuff anyway.
Do you
Harley.
do you use a tender?
Yep.
And it still went bad that quick?
Well, it actually lasted longer than they say most of them. I said, yeah, I've been changing mine out about once a year, and they're like, that's actually long for this battery. It usually doesn't last 6 months. So the last battery lasted, I changed it out beginning of spring. I changed the last one out at the camp out before I went, so that one actually has lasted since last March, and it's not totally dead yet, but I'll go out some days, and it's dead. Go back on charge, and it'll only get up to like 65%. It will not go above 65. So, yeah, it's just fried.
So you've had a troublesome
I'll put a
week.
regular Yuasa on it, and it'll be fixed.
Yeah. So it's been a troublesome week, specifically for the Harley.
Oh, work has been pretty troublesome too. It's been a pain. The good thing about where I work is it's low stress, but I stress about everything. So even though there's lots of things broke and other people really don't care, the company kind of doesn't care either. Me and the supervisor care, so we've been working, like I've been staying late every day this week just trying to get stuff done because I know if I don't fix it and he doesn't fix it, it won't get fixed.
So low stress environment, high stress individual.
The environment itself is low stress, but it's low stress because I think management just kind of doesn't care sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Your workers care because they want it to work, obviously.
Right.
But
Although it looks like there's
Training.
some new
that's
bikes.
what it is.
Rainey, have you heard the expression on Memphis time?
Oh,
No.
So I know you're not in Memphis specifically, but that is in some of the work that I've done, come across like, I don't know, working in the Chicagoland region, that's a busier to do. But then if you spend some time down south in Memphis as an example, you start to feel like, oh, these people are on a whole different pace. Like they just operate different. So
You have 1 mile
you're
from Memphis,
speaking,
right?
no, I know, but like just
Yeah,
that area, even like
It is.
some folks just don't have that fire under their ass to get shit done. So what you're speaking to, I have experienced firsthand.
I feel it.
all right. So, what is your exciting news for next weekend, Rainey? Oh, goodbye, Rainey.
Whoops.
Well, moving on until he comes back.
I wanted to be really cool if you guys noticed Sid and I are wearing the same hat.
Mine's in my saddlebag, and I don't feel like going out to the hot garage. So, Sid, 7 Signal, how was your week?
It's going pretty well, all things considering. Just got the bike back from its 1K service, which I got my 1K service at 2,000. So
Wow.
yeah,
Maybe,
it's okay. I
maybe
didn't.
that's why they
Okay.
quoted you so much.
No, it's not. They don't quote you based on your mileage. That'd be stupid. So, yeah, I basically as people know, I do a lot of riding. So
Yeah, I didn't realize that, like, just how much riding you actually do until your weekend here. It's like, man, that's been
Yeah.
a lot these last 2 days, and you just looked at me and you're like, that's nothing. It's like, oh,
Whoops.
yeah, I mean, like I had the bike for about a week and a half total for like riding time, and I only rode it about probably about like 8 days out of that time frame, and I had put 2,000 miles on it.
half of that was just you coming here, riding and home.
Fuck yeah. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Jesus.
Yeah, and then they quoted me so much. Actually, I went in today, and I'm gonna do like a quick little video about it, but the guy said, yeah, the original quote I gave you was asinine. This is before I even said anything to him. He said, the original quote I gave you was asinine. I'm surprised you didn't punch me right in the mouth. And then I was like, yeah, I was surprised I didn't either. I was feeling a little too nauseous after you gave me the numbers. And he's like, yeah, here's the actual cost of it. And he actually dropped like $200 to $300 off the initial quote.
Okay. I was going to say, because what he quoted you was like absurd. And a couple of people in the Whiskey Chaser Discord, when I was talking about me having mine here soon, they said they expected to be between $300 and $500. And somebody who had an S that traded it in to get a Pan America said $450 is what they were charged. So, when comparing that to the number you said, I was just like, somebody's getting ripped off here.
I thought we were all gonna get in a group and like roll on a freaking Harley Davidson dealership in New Jersey.
Oh,
I mean,
we wouldn't have to.
that's
Sue would
brutal.
go there in the middle of the day and just torch it. She wouldn't even try to hide it.
Only as long as we
speaking of
roll
take a
well
run.
on our stuff, you know.
But
Harley charges insane prices for stuff anyway. But when you add to that, one, it's a Harley. Two, service itself is ridiculous. And they're charging you for man hours. They're not charging you for supplies. They're not charging you for their knowledge. They're just charging you for their hours. How hard is it to pull a drain plug and pull a fill plug, pull a cover off, replace a gasket? You're looking at probably, at the most, if you're using the most high-level lubricants and O-rings possible, $100. If you're paying for that dude to go take his coffee breaks and go smoke a cigarette and talk to his friends and go slap the receptionist on the butt, that's what you're paying for.
I think they technically
Sounds
check the
oddly
bolts
specific.
too, but I don't know if they actually do that either.
They don't.
They do.
I've gotten mine
Well-
back. So I bought the service package on mine. It is the 3-year service package because I thought my first Harley, I'm gonna let somebody else do the first couple, and it was actually worth it to pay them to do it because you're paying like 33% of the price what it actually costs full time. But I got it back. I had loose exhaust bolts,
Yeah.
so I'll never do it again.
And that, I also think about like in terms of like what they're charging you in labor. If you think about, yes, there are a crap ton of bolts on any motorcycle, not even Harley, but how long does it really take you to go through and just make sure that they're tight? Because you're not really checking torque on all of them. You're just making sure none of them came loose in that first 1,000 miles or whatever it is. Like, how long would that really take you?
all
So
day.
Checking
I
wheel
think
bolts and that it.
You're
If they're
buying
checking really-
a whoopee blanket, essentially.
I think that first 500 should be a
External bolts.
freebie anyway, because most of the stuff they tighten is stuff that they forgot to tighten in the factory, or they forgot to tighten when they did the unboxing.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna pull it back
Yeah.
in. We got one more person to ask about their week before we get into tonight's topic. So saving the best for last, obviously. Steve, how's your week been?
It's been good, crazy, stressful as always. We had basically our entire inventory for the rest of the year come in. And so spent a lot of time in the warehouse, and then I got a tap on the shoulder and say, "Hey, you've got to. I need all the artwork for the first 3,000 shirts." And I was like, "Fuck, I haven't thought about that at all. I haven't even gotten to it yet. So you guys are getting some free shirts. I was gonna do yours, Aaron, but
Mhm.
if you can, like, I need a black and white version of it. Otherwise, there's too many colors."
Yeah,
I was having fun.
I messaged the artist, but I haven't got a response back yet. So
Yeah, you got about a couple of days to get a response back. Otherwise, that spot's going to someone else. Rainey sent me
That's-
his. It's
yeah.
perfect.
that's fine. If you got to send it to someone else, no worries.
Blue
It was
shoes.
very simple, few colors. Yeah, it was.
Well, they charge you by color, so it's
Yeah, but
and it's a full color max.
and you said mine was like 20 something, 23.
I don't know. I didn't count, but it was like it was definitely done in vector, but it was really just a cool drawing,
Mm-hmm.
not really a logo.
Yeah.
Because there's actual rules for making a logo, like
Okay.
actual like. So this is what I got a master's in, is design and art direction and product design and stuff like that. So like you have to do certain things when you create a logo, and yours isn't
Okay.
really a logo.
No, it is
Here's the thing.
very. Yeah, mine is very much a stylized, artistic view of my angry face.
Yeah, I mean it's cool. It's just the idea is that it needs to apply in the real world in any
Correct.
in any way, shape, or form. So it needs to be scalable. It needs to fit inside a square or a rectangle. You need to be able to read it and see it when it's really small.
Mm-hmm.
On screens that can be difficult. So
It doesn't need
a
pixelation.
what's up?
Pixelation can be a problem too.
Well, that's why
When
you
it comes
do
to
build it in
scaling,
vector.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
you always do everything in vector, but his is in vector, so it's fine. That I love. Let me see it again. Yeah, so I redid yours. I can't do the gradient, like the glowing. I kind of want to just do.
Yeah.
Okay, so now instead of doing like the stuff that I was gonna do, I kind of wanted to just have yours as like a red, like a red patch, like just like that right here. I think that would look rad because the
Yeah.
shoulder. So the shoulder stitching, it's gonna always have this red line. So I have black,
Mhm.
white, and heather gray. That you'll get mixed sizes of and all three colors. And I think that would look good on all colors, especially with the red accent. So send me that file if you have it, because I can't. The neon light one's cool, but it's got a gradient, and you can't screen print a gradient without converting it to bitmap, which sucks. So send me that one. I'll do that one instead.
I don't have that one. That was the guy who made my hats had to
Okay,
also redo
so-
the logo.
Okay, so use your phone camera and get as close of a shot as you can get,
Yeah.
and have it be like not blurry, like not shaky, and then
Mhm.
send it to me through WeTransfer. Don't email it to me, because if when you email it, it might be compressed. Then I can recreate it,
Right.
just like I did what you had. But that's like yours is cool. I like it a lot. So I'm doing Rainey's. I'm doing work on. I don't know how big you want yours to be, Rainey.
And use your best judgment. I mean, I'm not. You're the garment guy. I'm just.
No, I'm not the garment guy. Like I'm like the garment guy as much as the rest of you are a garment guy. I've never made t-shirts before.
No, see, he's the glove and boot guy.
Yeah,
10
I
inches
did-
across looks like the standard. So
yeah, there are sizing constraints just because the screens are only so big. If you want to do oversized screens, then it's like a premium on it, which I'm not going to do. But if you want to do it like right in the middle, that's fine.
yeah, right in the middle. It looks like most of these that have it are like on a 10-inch round. So 10 inches probably is the best.
Yeah, I will do my best. Yeah, for sure. And yours is nice and crisp. So I mean, yours.
I'll send you another one just in case. The one I sent you doesn't have any white in it, so just in case you put it, you make another. They sent me two. So when you do Fiverr, they send you 6 pictures. They'll send you a grayscale one, the full color one, full color with your name logo on it, full color without it, and then they send you a removed one and then a transparent one. So
Yeah,
I'll send
so
you
I'll
a
look-
transparent one.
Well, I have the transparent one, the PNG.
It's okay. So I didn't send you the removed one. I sent you the PNG, the transparent.
Yeah, the transparent one. Now, obviously, you can't put. I'll add in the white where it needs to be. And I'll
There's
change
another one that
it.
has the white. I'll go ahead and send it.
Okay. Yeah,
You
because
figure
like,
out which one's best.
well, like if you got multiple ones, and I don't want to
I'll
do.
send you one more.
I don't want to do 2 screens.
No, I'll just
Yeah.
send the one. Whichever one looks better on the color. I only want blue shirts. Blue shirts are fine. But
Oh no,
whatever you have.
No, I only got for this first run of material. I got 6,000 yards of black, white, and like a heather gray.
Black's fine.
So, well, I mean, you're gonna get a
Like
mixture.
this?
Like
Okay.
so, you can have people can have 3 options.
Okay, so it needs the white then. The one I just sent you, then I'll be the one probably.
Yeah, because you wouldn't be able to put it on black. It's transparent unless I do my thing. But
All right.
other than that, things are chugging along.
All right. That's all good and exciting news. It looks like Yankee got a question in the chat from Casey. He wants to know how you're liking the quad lock.
Well, because of the consistently horrible weather we've been having around here, I've only been able to use it once. Of that time that I used it, though, I really liked it. One definite drawback of it is that, like, unlike the RAM mount, you can't really adjust it on the fly like you can that particular one, but the trade-off is definitely worth it. It is so much more solid. It is, like, so much more just, like, connected. I did order the whatchamacallit, the vibration dampener, so that should be coming in shortly. But no, yeah, I'm really impressed. It took me a second to, like, just sort of figure out how it mounts, how you kind of gotta push it on there, make sure it's even, and then kind of twist it so that it locks in properly. But yeah, no, I'm definitely enjoying it. That definitely makes a lot of things a lot easier.
Did you get the charging version, or?
I did not, so I'm probably going to make one of the more ignorant statements that I've made at least today. I mean, I kind of get that it will help the connector from getting worn out, but if I'm not mistaken, the charging version, don't you have to plug it to a USB port anyway to make it work?
I believe so, yeah. It is meant to plug into a USB port on the bike, and then I think it's the hell is it called? Is it induction charging? Is that how it works?
So what in my experience, though, when I've ridden through rain, it doesn't happen very often, but if you have that charging cord in your phone when it's raining, I ran into issues where the phone was like, like it like realized like that it was getting rained on and was gonna fuck it up. So I'm glad it didn't fuck up my phone, but it let me know that was a problem. Whereas I think, and I could very well be wrong, but with this wireless shit, you kind of avoid all of that entirely. So yes, you still have a cable going into the back of it, but it's not directly connected to your phone. I think that's the perk.
Sid has something to add?
Maybe. I have had that happen before, but I don't actually remember if there was a cord in it at that particular time. There might have been. Yeah, I know that can happen in super duper heavy rain, so that is one thing of it. But the point is, like, I have to run the USB. I'd have to run the USB charger thing anyway. So yeah, maybe it would be an advantage, but
So Sid, you look like you wanted to add something.
Yeah. So one of the things that can help, if anyone here has a USB-C connector port at the base of their phone. Yep. There are these little silicone inserts that you could put in, because it's not the issue of it being plugged in, it's the issue of some water actually getting into that port and just settling there. And it could cause a lot of errors with your phone. A lot of weird stuff will happen to your screen.
I had
Trust
that
me,
issue.
I've been stuck in.
Yeah, I had that issue with the S10, Galaxy S10 coming home last October from all the 600 miles of rain. When I got to the hotel halfway home, I couldn't get my phone to charge. I had to completely shut it off to get it to let it charge, because there was some type of moisture still in the charging port, and it just would not let it charge go through while the phone was on because of the safety feature. So
You have a Samsung?
I now have a Google Pixel 7, and I hate it.
Now,
So
my
if I can-
Samsung, if you get water in the port, it says there is water in your port. Do not plug in charger.
Yep.
That's what mine says.
So you turn it off so you can still charge it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
So-
gonna.
Put it.
If anyone needs those inserts, I actually have a lot now, because I went, and the very first time I got stuck in a rainstorm, I was like, okay, I'm purchasing these. So if anyone needs them, let me know.
So
Always.
this ties in really nicely to the topic
Yes.
tonight, Aaron.
Which I was getting ready
If
to
you
say
wanna
now.
Take that and run with it. There
So
you go.
have a
yeah,
topic?
yeah. For the first time in a long time for a Weirdos Assemble live stream, we actually have a topic, and I wish I could take all the credit for this one, but I can't. Someone on the stream helped me with this. They shall remain unnamed, but they are giving a shit-eating grin. And the topic is planning for motorcycle travel. Routes, stops, safety, anything that goes along with it. And then on top of that, since we do have a woman here to give their perspective, the differences for traveling between a man and a woman on a bike. So whoever wants to, put their opinions out there first, or your method for traveling on the bike.
Always call the hotel ahead and tell them who's staying with you. That way, if they get there ahead of you, they can get into your room and get a shower.
Oh, that's a really good
That's a
idea.
good tip.
That was nice.
That's a good tip.
Yeah, so if you plan on people staying with you, make sure you give their name to the hotel when you make the reservation. Right, Aaron?
Yes. What was it, an hour and a half?
Yeah, I was actually ahead of them, and all of a sudden I ran into a car accident outside of Montgomery, and I was like an hour and a half later than everybody else, even though I was gonna get there an hour before everyone. And so I called the hotel and I said, "Yeah, here's me. This is my credit card number. Let these people into the room." The funny thing is, he just walked up and said, "Hey, we're gonna be staying with Mike Keaton," and they said, "Okay, here's your
And
key.
let us
Go on
in.
up."
Yep. Yeah, that was it was an interesting trip.
Even though they didn't have a hot tub, but oh well.
They didn't, but that's fine. The shower water was incredibly hot and nice.
It's always a help.
So, seriously though, and I'm sure Seven will agree with me on this one. Snacks, very important. Carrying a bottle of water somewhere on the bike, very important. Because you never know when you're going to get stuck somewhere, especially on the way to Florida.
So I remember you talking about that last October, or after last October camp out, because whenever I travel, I wouldn't really pack stuff like that. I just kind of go, and I wouldn't really eat or snack on the road. I wouldn't really drink anything on the road. And I'd mention that I was getting tired, and you're like, "Oh, that's because you're dehydrated. You need to drink water. You need to have some salt in your system to help keep yourself up and going." So I made sure to do that this past March on the Sportster.
Yeah, summer, it's very easy to figure out when you're getting thirsty and dehydrated. When you're traveling in March and October, it's nice and cool. You don't realize that the wind is sucking all the water out of your body until you go to put your feet down and your knees won't stay straight, or your toes buckle, or your hands start cramping, and you're doing 75 down the interstate trying to clutch off of a highway, and your hands won't close around the brake lever or the clutch.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, very important to keep water with you, and drink it every once in a while, and drink and pee every time you stop, every time.
Yep. I took all of those lessons from last October to heart this past March.
Yeah, it's usually my tactic when I pull over at a gas station is if I don't even get something to eat, but I usually buy at least one bottle of water, and I just chug that mofo right next to the bike.
You do.
Pre-hydrate. Even if you're not necessarily feeling super thirsty right then and there, it's a good idea to just do it anyway. That way, you don't end up kind of like behind on your water budget, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and once you're thirsty, it's too late. Once you get out of the mouth, it's too late.
Yep.
How does everyone like those hydration tablets, the noon ones?
I
I
like
haven't
them.
tried them.
I do the lemon lime ones, and they're delicious. Not only does it help you, obviously with your electrolytes, but it tastes good, so it makes you want to drink the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually just
And
crushed one before stream.
I learned this thing overseas
Saved my
is
life.
your body will get sick of the taste of water, and that sounds funny, but your body will eventually just say, "I'm not drinking this."
Mm-hmm.
And putting just a little bit of flavor into it will make you want to drink it.
Yeah, and I think that's something some of us may struggle with just regularly too. Is if you're trying to push yourself to drink more water, sometimes the taste of your water is off. Like, depending on what you do, whether you got filtered water or you're just drinking tap water, it might just seem a little off. I know there's times where it's probably a little off. There's probably a little extra chlorine in there. I get an upset stomach in my tap water. So yeah, I mean, I'll do flavor packets. I do liquid IV pretty well as I need to. It was definitely something I needed this last weekend because of it wasn't that it was very hot. I mean, it was in the 80s, but also being out in full sun and humid doesn't help because you're sweating a lot.
Can we take a very brief detour into bottled water? because who else hates the taste of Dasani water? That's me. I think
Worse.
Dasani tastes like
Are you
drinking straight
kidding?
out of a pool.
I'll take
Those
Dasani
are
over
weird.
Aquafina.
Yeah,
I'll say that. I'll take
no, no.
Dasani over Aquafina.
I like Aquafina better.
Aquafina is the best. It's
Best
Arrowhead
is
that's
the-
the worst.
The water that Love's has, the mountain water or whatever it is, that's the best water to get.
Mhm.
See, I'm like Ice Mountain. Like that's my
Ice
go-to.
Mountain,
Core.
That's it.
Yeah,
Always go for core.
Of course.
Dasani tastes like plastic and chlorine. Like I don't know what they're doing in their bottles, but there's something wrong. It just tastes wrong.
Also, keep in mind too, like if you look, a lot of times they'll identify their source for the bottled water. A lot of times you might just say from a municipal source. It's not like spring water per se, unless it's labeled. So take a
Yeah.
look on that. You know,
I think Aquafina adds a little like charcoal or something. No, I happen to like Aquafina a lot. Like that's my favorite. Like
But-
me and Steph did a blind. We just got bored one night and went to the supermarket and bought every different brand and decided which one.
You
tasted
did
best.
you did the blind taste test.
is
Yeah,
that's
with, like-
gotta be
with, like,
a
eight-
YouTube video out there of somebody describing some
And-
like
Super
water
dumb.
sommelier or something.
Arrowhead
Super-
sucks. And
Super
Aquafina
dumb
rocks.
question.
You know.
Do you guys have Poland Spring where you are?
Have what?
Is it?
Poland Spring.
I've seen it. It was up
I
in
don't. I don't know.
St. Louis at Poland Spring. I've not seen it here.
I'll say
Okay.
for me, my bottled water brand of choice is Core, and that's in part because it has such a large opening at the top. I can easily drop a noon tablet or something in it, or it makes a good pee jug in the middle of the night when you're camping and it's cold and you don't want to get out of your tent.
You ever heard of Gatorade?
Yes, but
Water sucks.
I also don't really care much for Gatorade or most sports drinks like
I'm talking about
that.
for being into bottles.
Sure,
But
but
Gatorade bottle's much better. It's thicker plastic, and it won't. If you accidentally roll over oil on it, it won't bust.
see, I don't think that.
Wait, you
I-
can fit it inside a Gatorade bottle?
That's you only gotta get the stream in.
That's what she said.
Morning your night and have
If
an
you-
empty Gatorade bottle with you.
if you've ever seen a Gatorade bottle on the side of the road and it's still full of something,
Never
yeah,
pick it
I
up.
know.
No,
That's
no.
So-
the spicy almond.
Leave
you know,
leave that for
Free
your
juice,
ex's
dude.
leave that for your ex's baby daddy. You know,
Oh,
leave that
Lord
for the guy
almighty.
your ex girlfriend left you for or whatever, because you know he lived an exciting life and now he's doing 6 months in county for something stupid.
Bruiser, are you okay?
No, I'm
That
sorry,
was
Dean.
weirdly
I know,
specific.
actually, I'm not,
someone
but
hurt
you
you?
know, I'm trying to use dark humor to cope with the shitty situation. You know, things in my life. So you know, one day at a time. But
As we all do. All right. So far we're talking about some of the small things. What about planning routes? I'll openly admit, I just open up Google Maps on my phone, find the quickest route that's not a toll road, hit OK, and go. I don't plan stops. I don't plan food stops, gas stops, rest breaks. I just go. And I'm like, I need gas. I'll pull off and get gas, or I need to pee, or use the restroom, or just I'm getting cramped up. I want to stretch. I will stop when I feel like that. I don't really plan like I'll go exactly 113 miles to this gas stop and stop here. Then I'll do 120 to here. I don't plan like that personally. So if any of you
Me
do,
neither.
But I do. I don't plan my stops, but I do plan my roads, because here's what's important, especially coming all the way from Memphis down to Tampa. There are 3 major highways that go down there, and the difference on the times are about 30 minutes. If you look one way, obviously it takes you to Atlanta. It tells you that it's the same distance as going through Mobile, Montgomery, and Birmingham, but it's not.
but it's not.
Here's the important thing to know about this. When you start heading down through Birmingham, heading towards Montgomery, you need to know that if all of a sudden you start seeing signs to Mobile, you've gone the wrong way. Because here's what your TomTom and your Google Maps will do. If it sees a wreck on the road, it will divert you. It doesn't matter if that wreck's going to be cleaned up in 15 minutes. It sees a wreck and it assumes you're going to be a fixed distance time, so it will divert you off that road. And you need to know when it diverts you off that road. So just take look at the map. I know if I go, down 78 and get on 20 and then run over to 85 or 75, then I'm heading that way still. If all of a sudden you find yourself on 28 or 35 or 65, you know that it's diverted you, and you need to know that you're not going in the same direction that you were.
Yeah, that's important too. So in the chat, Dry Heat Doug brought up that Waze has been bought by Waze is owned by Google. I know I've used Waze since before it was owned by Google, and Google probably ripped a lot of stuff from Waze to update their stuff too. So yeah, that's another good thing because it's got their live updates that you can use on there. Not exactly most practical with a motorcycle, because we're
I like
usually wearing
Waze.
gloves.
I'm a Wazer.
Waze is good. I've used Waze to go a lot of places, but yeah, that's
Waze has prevented me from potential speeding tickets on a number of occasions.
Awesome.
So that is the key feature, and it only gives you, I think, about a half mile. So realistically, if a cop's running LiDAR and you're on a very flat road, but you don't see them until a half mile, you're probably getting got if you're speeding good. But in most occasions, like I haven't gotten pulled over in since 2016. Waze will help you out in a real nice way.
Speaking of getting
Real
caught
nice ways.
speeding,
In a real nice
In
ways.
really nice ways.
The most accurate one I use is my TomTom. And TomTom will also update you by the minute on detours and road construction and delays. It's weird if I'll run both of them if I'm in the city or if I'm in a place that I know I might get diverted. I'll run TomTom and I'll run Google Maps on my phone. I'll run them at the same time just to see which one's telling me which way to go. Because majority of the time I'll follow TomTom, but Google is quicker at picking up. I'm not sure where they get the information from, but they pick up on what do they call it, civil radio traffic. But Google picks up actual real time TomTom picks up how the cars are moving. Google picks up the news of what's there that the highway department is putting out. There's a little difference in what they put out, but I'd follow TomTom before I'd follow Google. And I've said Google enough times that my phone is lighting up. I just said a paragraph. It just logged a paragraph. I wonder who I just called. Anyway.
all right. So Sid,
So
you are probably one of the most. You're probably one of the people who prepares the most before any type of trip. Just from a couple conversations we had, enlighten us. Tell us how terrible we are at planning trips.
I'll go so far as to constantly monitor the radar and actually plan my routes in terms of future weather projections. Because when I do travel, it's usually cross country or partway cross country. So the changes in the radar happen almost spontaneously. So every time I'm at a stop, I'm always checking. I plan things down to, like, if there's elevation, I take that into consideration. I plan out my stops based on where hospitals are. And there are certain areas where I plan my stops where there's, like, proximity to police stations.
Now,
go ahead.
I want to interrupt you there. And are you doing that in particular because you're traveling solo as a woman and feel that you might become more targeted because of that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't try to make a target of myself, but, there's things you got to be concerned about, especially if you travel solo. And the fact of the matter is there's just not a whole lot of people or friends that I have that do the kind of riding that I do, who live really close to me and have the time to take for the rides that I do.
Yeah, someday I want to grow up and be a motorcycle rider like Sid. That's what I aspire to. It's like just being able to fucking go. But it sounds like you've got a lot of prep work that you kind of do a little bit of pre-work to make it so that those longer trips are a little bit as easy as they could go.
Yeah, like, I haven't done too many where I've been in a situation where I have to be, like, really conscientious about all the gas stations that I go to, because most of the time, within, like, 3 hours, like, I usually have to stop every 2 to 3 hours. So, with that being said, like, typically speaking, there's a lot of gas stations that are available to me. There's only been a few instances where I was running on fumes, and that's only when I was coming back into Jersey at ass o'clock in the morning. Oh, by the way, do not listen to the Jersey highway signs that say gas off this exit. They will lie to you. All the gas stations have to be manned. So at off hours, especially after COVID, there's a lot of them that aren't. So don't get yourself caught in the middle of in small towns in Jersey with no gas.
Travel in
Jersey.
Jersey,
detour there.
gas
We
can.
took another really brief detour about the Jersey gas stations because, like,
Oh my god.
I don't know, Aaron. I'm sure you grew up like you pump your own fucking gas.
Yeah,
Like,
I knew about that
I-
beforehand, and completely forgot about it once we were there. Like, why is it denying my card? Why is nothing happening? And then I saw the attendant walking around to all of the bikes and putting in his stuff, and I watched for a second, like, oh yeah, Jersey don't let you pour your own gas in a car.
What station did you go to? Because you could it prompts you to put in information.
So remember
where we
that?
stopped at? Yeah, like that. There was one it was on Saturday. Yeah. Like I know we stopped at a few, but like one of them for sure. Like
The first
Aaron,
one.
like tried to use his card and it wouldn't let him use it at all.
The first one we stopped at when you guys tried to all connect cardos for the third time, when we all moved over to the side of the parking lot.
I don't think
Before
it's a statewide thing though. Like I know it is in like Washington
Turnpike it is.
in Origin.
No, in Jersey it is.
Unless
Really?
you have a
Turnpike,
motorcycle.
yeah, you'll get. I've actually, when we talked about this, but yeah, I was running a service truck through there, and I got off on the turnpike, and when I stopped for gas, all these medians that like cross over the highway, you got to get off, and then it's like these bridges, and the gas station is actually on the bridge over the highway. It's kind of freaky, a little scary. But anyway, so yeah, I had a guy who offered to throw me in jail because I was pumping my own gas. He was going to call the cops on me because I was trying to pump my own gas.
That's this bitch.
Yeah. See, I knew it was a thing. I've heard about it, but then once I'm there, just completely out of thought, out of mind. Didn't think about it. I'm standing there like, it's not taking my card. What's going on? And then I saw the attendant walking around. I'm like, oh yeah, you ain't allowed to pump gas in Jersey.
Are you? I mean, like, I'm pretty sure we were at the same gas station, my guy.
We were, but
I just got my card out, and I
They're
just
scared
did
of
that
you
all-
though. You had your knife on you.
Usually.
Sorry, I guess I'm just not as cool as you.
They got a sign with your face on it said, "Yep, let her pump her own."
Yep.
No
Don't-
load, she's coming.
Don't mess with her.
Yeah.
She stabs.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
she looks scary as soon as she gets off that bike. And the only thing that's scary about you is your logo.
So I actually, now that I remember, you didn't fill
Aaron
up the
looks
gas
like an
station that we're talking about.
But I love you.
Oh yeah.
No,
You filled
yeah,
up the,
she
like,
pulled up
the
at
next
the
one
other
or
one.
something like that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the
Okay.
first one we stopped at had attendants, and you weren't allowed to pump your own gas.
Well,
This-
they all had attendants, but like,
Well, the other one-
whether or not they let you pump your own gas, I guess is up to the station.
Okay, well that one, yeah, because I believe Yankee, Eddie, and everyone else, like, the attendant had to come over and put in some information before it would let them, like, put in their card and pay for gas.
Weird.
Because when he came over, he looked at me and he held his hand out for my card, and he's like, how much you want? I'm like, fill it up.
Yeah, I don't know if he had to, but I was just sort of being polite and letting him do his thing because the times that I have stopped in Jersey for gas, they pretty much invariably just like let you do your own thing at some given point. But I like to let them decide when to start
Yeah.
that process.
For some reason, in sort of back of my mind, I'm thinking motorcycle are exempt from this, right?
I never let people pump my
Ours,
gas on
maybe
my
not.
bike.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Like no
Yeah,
one
you
touches
stab
my
'em.
my bike. No,
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
not even the point. It's just like there's so many ways that they could slip and scratch my paint and all that.
Dribble all
I just don't
over
let
it.
them touch. Yeah, I don't let them touch it. And
Yeah,
they
I
actually
hear
don't
I hear they don't like
respectful
when
of
it
motorcycles.
dribbles.
But we got to recognize that there are people that think like if you pump your gas that you're gonna get cancer and it'll kill you. And I don't know that that's not the case, but also most of the country doesn't do this. So like,
I wanna say-
It's like
worry
New
is-
Jersey and a
behind
few
it.
counties in Oregon. Yeah.
Yeah,
Was
the
it
reason
Utah
behind this
when
is like
they,
weird.
Was it Utah that it's like 3 or 4 years ago stopped doing the union gas pumping thing and people had to pump their own gas? There were literally people just driving until they ran out of gas because they were scared to stop because they didn't know what to do.
Probably
That's
Oregon.
so sad.
And there were people.
That's so
There were, I
sad.
remember the videos on YouTube and Instagram of people like walking around their cars, just like staring at the car because they didn't know where to put the gas in, and they're pulling on the license plate, and they're like pulling on the side of the fender, and they're because they don't even know what to do.
I
Yeah.
I guess I had great parents and grandparents because they taught me how to not only fill up the gas tank but made me go pay for it too, so they didn't have to get out of the car when I was in like elementary school.
Also, this is leading me down a whole different path of, and maybe we don't need to go there, but like, do these people not use any sort of small engine appliances like a weed whacker, anything like that, where you would have a gas jug? Because who helps you fill the gas jug?
I have a very funny story about this. There's actually towns in Jersey where people bitched and moaned about their neighbors operating gas-powered appliances. So like leaf blowers, not appliances but tools, I guess. Leaf blowers, weed whackers, and now it's illegal in that town to use gas-powered tools like that.
You know they're trying to make it illegal to use gas stoves. That's coming up to the second time now.
The
It's already been
gas
struck down,
stoves
but
is
I'm
like the
trying
best cooking instrument.
They're trying to bring it up again.
Yeah, I think it's actually.
Teasing.
Well, in California, at least in LA County, you can't use gas-powered leaf blowers. You have to use electric, and people in the and I'm on my fucking HOA because if I don't, it's just a bunch of people like screaming at each other, getting nothing done.
Well, isn't a large gathering of Karens called an HOA?
I think so. Yeah. It's like a merger of crows and large gathering of Karen is an HOA. Yeah, that is actually
I'd
the
rather
plural.
than murder. I'd rather.
Side
than
note, I
murder.
saw the funniest meme today. It was two crows sitting on a bench, and it said attempted murder.
Pretty sure it's a T-shirt too.
That is good, but no, yeah, like I know that our landscapers, they aren't allowed to use gas powered anything, and it sucks because you can't do shit.
They've got to
Exactly.
go through so many batteries.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Aaron,
it's
this
so
is for you.
ridiculous because it's like I don't know what you think powers the batteries. Like, what are you saving?
It's
I've got
awesome.
some bad memories with that, Rainey.
All right, Steve, Aaron, we're gonna try this. So,
Oh, I've
funny
had
story,
it.
So
I've had it.
I go into the liquor store today, and the guy says, "What are you looking for?" And I said, "Well, I got a YouTube channel, and I'm doing this because of the pickle thing." I said, "I'm gonna try a bunch of alcohols and see. I'm gonna do some testing on my channel, and I'm gonna call it Rainy Tries It. We're gonna test some different alcohols and see what's good." He's like, "Oh, that sounds really good." He goes, "Well, let me take you where the minis are." He brought me to this huge case. And of course, being an old man I am, I didn't have my reading glasses on. I was like, I can't see the prices on those. He goes, well, that one's $2.99, and that one's $4, and that one's this. He goes, tell you what. He goes, I'll give you one off of each of the top two shelves for 99 cents a piece.
Wow.
Okay, and I'm not shitting you. You saw the picture of what I brought home. That's just one of each of the top shelf for 99 cents a piece. Some of that shit was Hennessy. I had, of course, the Screwball, and then I've got a Paul Masson brandy.
And you got the Wild Turkey 101 in there too. I was like,
Yeah.
hell yeah,
He
that's a
gave
good little pick.
He gave me 2 videos worth because there's no way I'm going to do that in one video. I'd die.
I'll tell you this: the Screwball is
It's a
amazing.
good video.
It is just straight up liquid peanut butter. I've got some bad and great memories with that.
Yeah, you're either gonna love it or hate it.
Okay,
There's no in between.
so I'm going
Oh,
to take a
that is
moment
so
and
good.
defer to the chat for a moment. So Casey brings in that he doesn't trust anybody who works at a gas station to pump his gas either. Well, he lives in Michigan, and all the gas stations probably close for the gathering of the Juggalos every year.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Whoop whoop. Anyhow,
So hold on, when is that
God,
going
I just
on? So I
realized
know
that
not to
happened
go
in,
to
like
work.
Aaron's backyard too a few years ago, didn't it?
Oh yeah, Legend Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's down the road.
Yeah. Sorry,
That's
I didn't mean
where,
to scar you.
Yeah, that's where a lot. See, other than Lost Lands, I don't pay attention to anything else that happens there because Lost Lands is always entertaining to just drive down through there and see the sights.
Dude, festivals are always so
Many-
great for people watching.
Many moons is all I'm gonna say.
Oh, okay. Many moons, many boobs.
Many.
I don't know.
Many moons.
You just gotta count how many.
I think
people
I just
wearing
broke
hats that says,
Sid.
Show me your butthole or something like that. You know.
So for everyone here who probably doesn't know, Lost Lands is a huge EDM, rave, kind of electronic music festival that happens in a little east of Central Ohio, off of State Route 13 at a place called Legend Valley. And it's gotten so big and popular that the people organizing the event actually rent out a lot of the neighboring houses, or not rent them out, but send a notice to all the neighboring houses when the festival is going on, and says, we will pay for you to get like a hotel room away from here for a week. There's been a couple of times where I've even heard the music out where I'm at, and I'm 15, 20 minutes away.
That is a very beautiful
Pretty.
baby there. Very beautiful
Yeah,
tardy.
we gotta pause for Cat.
Wait, I gotta get back
There
on the
you go.
screen. Oh,
And then
look how angry.
It's like
I
an angry
know.
cat. But yeah, there's your cat butt. Yep.
I think even Shaq came out to DJ a couple of songs one year for Lost Lands.
That's
You
cool.
say Shrek?
Shaq. Because Shaq is also
Yeah,
a
He's
DJ.
gonna get excited.
Yeah.
Rainy's getting
That's what I
excited.
said.
She's a big girl. Correct. What?
So, back to the topic of motorcycle travel and planning. So Sid, you know, you did talk that you plan your routes out with elevation, weather, and all of that. Yet until recently, you never had rain gear.
Yeah, no, I send it. Just send it.
So
Gears or skin.
if you plan it out though and avoid the rain, I could understand not having rain gear
Well,
because you're doing your due diligence, right?
yeah.
Yet how many
More often than not, I have been very, very lucky slash
until you
skilled
came to Ohio?
avoid. Yeah, Ohio fucking sucks. You ruined my streak.
Yeah,
Yes,
two
Ohio
rainstorms.
was terrible.
But hold on, you got stuck in how many blizzards on the way down?
Oh,
Every night?
Well,
Every
a
night you
blizzard-
slapped a
alright.
blizzard?
Yeah, well, every night
That's
I was
frozen,
sleeping
it
at
doesn't
about
count?
27. Yeah, I had to slay a tauntaun, fucking rip it open. But yeah, it was cold as hell for the Forgotten Angels trip. Never again am I traveling without heated gear ever. Like during the winter though, not so much during the summer. I could deal with it during the summer.
I don't think October will be as bad. It's always March that's like the real toss-up.
Can we explain to him how the Blue Ridge gets? Because that's usually the way I go. The Blue
It's a
Ridge,
mountain?
because of the elevation, it's a mountain, yes, and because
Oh,
it's
it's
a
a
mountain.
hill. Got you.
So because it's a mountain, and the elevation's so high, everything gets colder.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm aware.
Okay.
Not from personal experience, but I have done some reading and Googling.
Sir, your nipples will freeze right off.
That popping noise? Yeah, that's your shirt tearing.
That's.
I'm curious now.
I'm sure you are. But
So, side note, the screwball, very tasty. But first official Rainy tries it, the screwball, very good.
awesome.
Scale of 1 to 10.
8.
Ooh,
Respectable.
you give a screwball 8? That's
Now-
generous.
Now
It
take
wasn't so sweet, but
Take-
then I guess
take a half a shot of the screwball and a half a shot of Bailey's.
No, what's
Are we
the
thinking that?
A fluffernutter shooter there?
And then
put that in? Feel like
that would
Reese's.
taste- I was just
Yeah.
thinking put a screwball in with a shot of caramel vodka and it would taste like a Snickers.
Yeah,
could
probably.
do that. Could do that. But if
You
you did
just-
Bailey's, it would taste like a Reese's.
So 7. Are you going to be on my taste panel? I want to do this. 2 people trying it, comparing notes when we're at Juice. You're coming too, right?
I'll be there.
Okay.
Tentatively,
Three of
but
us
I'll
sitting
be
on the
there.
panel,
But yes.
And yeah, the Angel Boy, we'll get you a light beer or something, and you can drink.
Is this?
You've got to do at
is
least
this
one
next
for this
weekend?
area.
Right.
I'll do a little bit of drinking,
Next
but I am
Friday,
trying to
week
cut
thing
back. Yeah,
Blue Truly.
We'll tape it. It'll be great content.
I
Great
have-
content.
I have a small house, so we might be able to transform the living room into a small
Oh my
recording
God.
area.
Oh my god, we'll figure
We can
it
have
out.
a slumber party. It'd be awesome with popcorn. Wear onesies.
I'll bring a onesie. Don't even.
Okay.
My tour pack just came in. Yeah, bring a onesie.
I'll show up
Tour
at a fair.
pack. Okay.
I mean, it's
What do you bring in the tour pack if we're gonna get it back on the track for this conversation?
Apparently
This
one-
topic.
oh, she doesn't know because she's never had a tour pack before.
I loved having a tour pack on the Connie. That was like the best meme part of that bike.
Yeah. Oh, actually, back on topic though. Legit.
What's our topic again?
We don't have
Yeah.
a topic.
So how do you guys handle your social media posts? I've always been curious how guys do their social media posts when traveling.
I'll jump in first here because I'm a paranoid motherfucker and trust very few. I kind of do like the Jess her two wheels method because I started my whole motorcycle thing from watching her and Shade Tree, and Shade Tree will just send it live, but then Jess will post like 2 stops behind where she's actually at. So I kind of do that. I'm either like a stop behind or 2 stops behind where I'm actually at.
Yeah.
Even though I have a small social media presence, I don't really have like a huge fan base, following base, or anything. But
Cool.
it's still
Right.
just like it's not hard to find any of us. We all know that. All of us are public figures. We all have public records. But minimizing any chance of potential inconvenience, is how I'll phrase it,
Yeah.
is worth it.
Well, I'll say this about Jess, and I know you know her way better than I do. I've only met her a couple times, but I'm fairly confident she'd be able to take care of herself if a bad situation came up. However, at the same time, like anybody who has gone through the preparations to do so, absolute last resort.
Yes, it's always better.
Yeah.
It-
You
it's-
don't go into something like that wanting to have to.
Correct. It's always better to plan to avoid something or to find a way to escape. And every state has their own laws for situations like that. But the first thing that I know most states will say is you have to try to escape
Yeah.
the situation.
Not every state.
Not.
There's
I know.
states like New Jersey. You got to.
States like New Jersey, you have to
So-
kiss the ring of the hand on the crown. Yeah.
Right.
So,
I'm not.
So I'm not from Ohio, and I like people. So I don't mind if people know where I'm at.
Yep. Same.
So
I
will-
post it right to the story. Boom.
The only thing I have to give time to is I gas the bike first without my helmet on. That way, when I go live, I don't have rings on my head from my helmet. And I am probably here's the way I look at it: if somebody's gonna find you, they're gonna find you,
Yeah.
and it won't be by accident. And I'm not, except for maybe Steve, I'm probably the only one who has ever had someone run up to them at a gas station and hug them because they're for who I am. And if you don't remember that story, remember Davis and Dan?
Mhm.
My wife goes into the store. I'm out there setting up my social media text. This dude looks up, and I look up. The dude's like standing like this far from me, like right here. And he goes, "Are you Rainy Rider?" I said, "Yeah." And he jumped on me and hugged me. He goes, "I am so happy to meet you." Just that time, Diana walks out, and she's like,
Diana's like getting ready to shank someone.
he's locked onto me like a leech, and he's about to draw blood. And
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what you guys were concerned about, is that you didn't want to post your current location, because I was confused. I was like,
Yeah.
I
So
thought like you didn't want people to know that that you were gone to break into your house. I was like,
both.
Oh.
you don't want them to know.
For me, it's a bit of
where you
both.
are.
Too.
Yeah, for me, it's a bit of both. It's no secret. I live alone. I don't share my space with anybody. So when I travel, for the most part, I try to keep that on kind of more like not openly broadcasted.
Yeah.
Like I don't say, "Hey, everybody, from this day to this day, I'm not going to be home.
I'm
Please
not-
break in." And I typically will ask someone local. Like I have a friend that lives 5 minutes down the road. I'll say, "Hey, man, like I'm going to be out of town between these dates. Do you mind, on your way to work, swing by my house, take in the mail or something like that? Just make sure my door's not kicked in or anything." And he's typically pretty good about it. So
it's more a concern about like people coming up to you, because no, I've never had someone come up to me and hug me at a
Yeah.
gas station, or just like someone creepy just kind of like, hey, I know where this person's going to be.
Exactly.
It's so.
Because,
Oh,
like,
okay.
from Ohio, for me to go to Tampa, Florida, I only really have two decent routes that aren't going to be super or eat up a bunch of time. The fastest route and the primary route would be going down I-75, and it's pretty much a straight shot all the way to Florida from Ohio down to I-75. And, you know, if someone knows, hey, Aaron stops every 180 miles to take a break, gas up in this, we know he lives loosely in this area, that means he's going to stop at one of these 3 gas stations. They could easily find me on the road, and something could happen. Do I expect that to happen?
You're giving
No.
too many good ideas to the internet, man.
Oh,
You
come
gotta
on.
Stop spilling the beans.
The internet exists. These things have been out there before. We all know it's, you know, anything's possible, but that's part of the reason why when I travel, I post my stops usually a stop behind. So if I make a post and say, hey, stop number 4, I'm actually at stop number 5, like an hour and a half minimum away.
Oh, what's up, League? Sorry, I just was looking at the chat.
League.
I know we were talking about something before, and this is kind of going back to the gas thing. 3-letter words,
You want
man.
to see my cat again?
You know it.
I love my cat.
AZDZ was like, in college, I'd help someone's parents use the gas pump because they didn't know how to use it at all, which I find funny. Where did you go to college? But yeah, no, I'm fully on board with not posting your exact stop. I don't really have much of a social media presence. I do have a public one that I did start, but I gotta be honest, I haven't put a lot of effort into it. Very, very, very minimal effort.
And
But at the same time, too, I've been kind of stalked before. Yeah. Girls
I guess-
can be weird. So, you know,
I'm not really a content creator, like, so I don't post on. I never post on social media. Like me personally, I don't even post on the company Instagram, 'cause I don't have time. But like, are there certain things that have happened that you guys know about, or like have other people shared stories where, you know, I was doing this and then this happened, and like, where did this kind of come from?
So,
Dude, Steve's asking the good questions. Like,
kind of like,
where does the paranoia come from? Come
So-
on.
Yeah, it's like, who the fuck care? Are they gonna kill you?
so for me personally, it does kind of tie into what Bruiser said as well, of having a psychotic individual stalk me. That has happened in my early adult life, like college.
and
I also,
and to be fair, it also probably would happen a lot more to ladies than it will men.
absolutely.
Yeah. So that was going to be my next question is like, unless that lady that's crazy and stalking you is on like a Jixer Thou or an H2, are they really going to catch you on your Low Rider ST?
I don't know what that's capable yet because I haven't got past break-in.
But that's a great way to find out. I don't
True.
think they will.
They're
But-
not going to find you at a gas station or a restaurant. They're going to find you in your house.
Yeah.
Your house is probably
Tru-
the worst place for you to hide
Trust me,
because everybody knows where that's at.
trust me. Not long after I moved in here, there was a situation where I thought that happened. We're not going to get into that on stream.
Some of us keep our houses, you know, and keep things at
Yes.
a good ready. Good ready, just in case. Hope it never gets that far, but you know.
And
That's
you know,
fine.
another
Things
thing
I like
is,
to keep my door open because I like to encourage intruders. Actually,
yeah, you're the guy waiting
You're
on
like,
the other side, just like,
Ooh,
come on
I'm
in.
just waiting
I'm
all
waiting.
day, dude.
so
But
come in and they actually like try to fight me because I have to retreat in my state. So make a threatening, like, you know,
So
give me cause.
additionally for me is my hometown that I come from is a very poor area, and people were stealing and cheating each other over every given chance possible. Like, it was not weird to have somebody's car stolen every day there, and it's a village. Like, it's not even a big town. It's a village with under 3,000 people in it. and yet
We
people's shit
call
would just
that
go missing.
economically disadvantaged.
Yes.
Economically disadvantaged, Nar.
Yes, so I wouldn't put it past someone from my hometown to see me in the okay position I'm in with what I have, and to be like, oh, he's going to be out of town. Well, we know he has this and this at his house. Let's just go relieve him of that. Or, oh, Aaron just went from a moped to a real bike. Well,
Real
you know,
bike.
that bike looks like it's my size. So I specifically, like, there's a lot of people from my personal life who don't know where I live, even though I've been here for 4 or 5 years. And they can't find me through the, county auditing website, because I can't. And then when I did it by looking at my address, not my name. They completely misspelled all of my name, like, to an unrecognizable point. So...
Yeah, there's way too many ways for someone to find you. If you want to know who you are, that's a nice cutie. But yeah, I Google my name at least once a year just to see what comes up, and you'll be surprised at things you can find out on regular Google about yourself. And it's things that the more things that get digitalized and put online, even back to your elementary school records, you can find everything about yourself online. So there's nowhere to hide anymore unless you just completely go off grid and move into the woods. That's why I find it hard to believe that these people can run away from the cops and be gone and get out of, escape prison and go missing, because there's just way too many places. If you ever use a credit card, thumb in anywhere, walk down a street, because everything has facial recognition now. You can't hide. They'll find you.
Well, I know in some cases, depending on who you are, or depending on how, I'm going to make a joke here, depending on how much your parents hated you, and you have a fairly unique name, it can make things interesting. And if you watch my microphone move, it's getting nuzzled right now. Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, you talk about, your home. It's like, well, I'm somewhat fortunate enough to have a roommate who's kind of a hermit. So that can help to an extent. But yeah, it's I haven't Googled my name in a while, but according to Google, I don't live at my address. So my Google account, I didn't change my address when I moved 5 years ago. So there's also that. But at the same time, like, I know my information is certainly kind of out there. It wouldn't take a whole lot of digging. But the people that are either A, dedicated enough to do that, and willing to, and able to put that 2 and 2 together a lot of the time. Like, you've got to be able to put that together. Like, it's not that hard, but the people that are willing to put in that effort is kind of few and far between. And other people, while it may seem to you that it's obvious, it's not obvious to them.
The worst thing that could probably happen to someone is to break into this house, because I have swords everywhere. My daughter wants to be a mortician. My daughter wants to be a mortician. We'll keep you alive for days because she's curious about the human body.
So
do not break into.
Easy there, Dr. Mengele.
You should
I bought her that Mark 48 war hatchet, and she's like, so if somebody breaks in, I can use this on them, right? I said, oh hell yeah. She's like, I hope somebody breaks in. I said, I do too.
Do we need to talk about the Cyclone M48?
This is like the meme where the guy breaks into a house. Yeah, a guy breaks into a house, and he's like, so you're gonna call the cops? He goes, why? No one knows you're here.
So you need to bring the clone. So you need to bring the clone to Ohio to apprentice with Moto Mortician.
So she's already lined up a mortician school here. So she's going to go through director school. She's already lined up here. It's a 2-year school to be a funeral director and get into morticians. And she's going to do the mortician class, and then she's going to go into forensic medicine.
Okay.
Nice.
So yeah, she loves. So maybe
I take it she's a big fan of Ask a Mortician then.
Yes. Oh yeah, we love her. We love Kate.
Yeah, that's
the babe.
she puts together some really good work.
We watch lots of forensic stuff, and she's already asked me this question about, of course, so I was a military cop and I was a combat lifesaver. So she asked me questions about the blood splatter and blood streaking and how long this takes, and she loves that shit. So yeah, I pity anyone that breaks in while we're not here because she won't tell us. We'll come back and there'll be a funny smell in the house. What's that smell? I don't know.
Rotting flesh, of course.
Take no attention to the barrel in the living room.
I feel sorry for anybody that breaks in.
Woodhouse,
Anyway,
fetch a rug.
Alright, so
Hey,
where's
touch
the rug
me.
go?
so
Why is there fresh dirt in the backyard?
pulling it back to the topic. We were talking about stopping, traveling, and that we don't really share our stops for the most part.
Always pack your kitty. You never know when you're gonna meet a kid.
Sid had mentioned when she chooses places to stop, it's either near a hospital or near a police station.
Or with that,
Or you keep those in mind specifically, yeah. For me, when I stop, I predominantly look for like a Flying J or a Love's. Because my dad was a truck driver a couple of times throughout his long work career. And he always told me that those are probably the safest places to stop when you're traveling, because truckers don't put up with any type of BS, other than lot lizards. So,
It's
That's a pretty big caveat there, actually, to be
Yeah.
fair.
so
Yeah.
for me, when it doesn't matter if I'm in a car or on the bike, I basically try to go between truck stops. Like I said, either a Flying J's or a Love's. Usually more so a Love's, because I just think their facilities are nicer.
Yeah.
And seem
We
to be
definitely
more.
were
about
seeking out the loves. No,
Definitely
fuck
steer you
Bucky's,
away
dude.
from
No,
I
Bucky's.
definitely steer you away from a TA's. I love Bucky's.
Yeah, I stay away from TAs. But Bucky's,
Buc-ee's
yeah.
too.
If I could go to more Bucky's, I would. They're just
Bucky's, especially if it's cold. If you're traveling cold and you need to take a poop, you want a Bucky's. Because their toilet stalls are the size
huge.
of small bathrooms.
Yes,
Yeah, they are.
absolutely.
You want a Bucky's.
It's not just a toilet; it's a toilet and changing room.
It's a bedroom.
Oh,
It's
I've-
almost
I've-
a bedroom. It's a bedroom in New
You
York.
can just about lay down and go to sleep in that thing. It's a room. It's not like a stall with walls.
No,
like,
it's-
partitions. It has walls.
It's huge, and I'm pretty sure don't their doors go like all the way to the floor too?
Yeah, it's a room.
Yeah,
it's
so-
not a stall. It's a
Yeah,
room.
yeah. I
you
mean,
don't have to worry about those kids like who are just
Sliding.
like, playing in the bathroom, just sliding under there and be like, "Hi, what are you doing?"
Well, see,
Oh,
I-
God, this
I
is
was-
unsettling.
I was thinking
It's
more
like
of like,
boots.
if you have to take a few layers off to drop a deuce, someone just going, "Hey, look, free jacket," and then half your stuff's gone. I was
There's
thinking
hooks
more of
all
that.
around
That's why you
Inside.
snap them. Come on now.
There's hooks around the inside of the room too.
Yeah.
You can hang all your stuff up. It's great.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
see, I'm having to Google like what the fuck Bucky's is.
so it is a
Yeah, you
gas
really got
station,
on that.
but it's like
No.
it's like
it
a.
doesn't exist like
No,
in this part of the country.
I think that's
so-
all
You don't have
east of the
Wawa
Mississippi.
now, do you?
Bucky's is a
What's that?
Walmart-sized gas station.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
no,
I'm not
but
kidding you. It is not uncommon for a Bucky's to have 80 gas pumps.
Yeah. So Bucky's.
You will never wait for a gas pump at a Bucky's.
it looks
Bucky's
like
is
it
a
stops
Texas
in about
thing.
Texas.
Yeah. So Bucky's,
Yeah.
like inside wise, I would say is probably about 2/3 the size of a typical Walmart. But they have just it's not even it's everything that would be parking at a Walmart is just gas pumps.
Yeah, it's half clothing store, half food mart, half food court.
Yeah, this is like so. It's a convenience store. It's got five. So I'm just a random one in Texas.
It's heaven.
It's got 5,000 reviews out of 4.7, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So they must.
If
they
you
must
ever
be doing
road
something
trip,
right.
if you ever
Please.
road trip, you gotta go to a Bucky's. Bucky's are amazing.
Birmingham
Steve,
has
let's
the best
go.
Bucky's.
I'm
go to
down.
Buc-ee's.
Like, yeah, I gotta find the closest one. It might be
It's probably Texas.
in fucking
Go to
Waco, but
Mexico.
There's one in San Antonio that's also extremely huge. And I'm not kidding you when they say they sell everything there. I went in there one time.
That one's
and
only
they
at
had barbecue
4.4.
pits.
Can we plan a trip to San Antonio as a group collectively?
I've
Because
got
San
family
Antonio is
close to there.
I
Also, there, if you're really nice, there's a rather large YouTuber in the San Antonio area who's got a resort. If you don't
Yes.
mind roughing it a little
Yes,
bit.
we know about the demolition mat. Yeah, no.
I have no idea who's being
Oh.
talked about.
Oh, Demo
Demolition
Ranch.
Ranch?
Yeah.
Oh, that's in Texas?
That's
Okay.
good.
Oh, speaking of Texas, apparently I have some family, like relatively close family, that has a mansion out there.
Is it
Welcome.
Matt?
Fuck.
Who?
Actually, my aunt lives in Bernie, Texas.
I don't know what part of
Okay.
Texas, so.
Well,
Hmm.
I don't know how many Ohio's can could fit into Texas, but it's probably like 8.
I'm gonna get a charger.
Are we talking about square mile or personality?
So I grew up
Yes.
in Texas. So when you're in Orange, Texas, which is the most eastern part of Texas, it is closer to the Atlantic Ocean than it is to the other side of Texas. When you're in El Paso, you're closer to Los Angeles than you are to the east side of Texas.
I believe that.
It is
I do
80
My
believe that.
apologies. There's an
27
Amber
miles
Alert
from
going
Texas
off right now, so Nar, you might be getting this too. Okay. So for anybody who might be watching in the Central Ohio area in Worthington, there's an Amber Alert. 2004 black Chevy Suburban, license plates Ohio Kilo Alpha Sierra 4505, tinted. Check your media.
In Mississippi, an Amber Alert means dollar beer night.
Explain.
Yeah.
Explain.
There's,
I'll tell you about it next week.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a
Amber?
off-camera story.
Amber Alert, dollar beer night.
Because it's an amber colored drink. I get it.
AZDZ got it too, so yeah, I just wanted to throw that
Aw.
out there.
How are
Public
those nerds?
service.
How are you nerds?
No, don't address them. They skipped your camp out. They don't deserve your attention.
No.
I
It's a
still
company
stop
line, so
it.
it's okay.
I still love them.
I'm
I
gonna
will
get
have to say,
I'm gonna get slapped
Other
more for that
bother-
comment.
other Bobber and Steph love me more than Aaron because they're going to give me Bloody Marys.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't drink them, so I don't know good places to get them. But I had a recommendation sent to me that I relayed to you.
Someone else said that was very generic ones, and even they didn't. Actually, it was AZDZ. It was Annette that said that she thought they had them, but she'd never had them herself. That's not
Oh.
much of a recommendation. You're not helping me.
No, I think
But
they were
not
talking
all.
about. I think they were talking about the place they recommended for food, the Rail.
The rail.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the place I was told to tell you was, I believe it's called Standard Hall.
Okay. Friday morning. You're skipping work. We're going out for Bloody Marys. Hey, wait. You had Bloody Marys. Wait.
Mm-mm.
Oh, he's gone. But yeah, Yankee. We had Bloody Marys that morning at the scrambled egg.
You guys did.
Yeah.
I did
With
not.
bacon. It had bacon and a chicken wing and all kinds of shit in
Good
it.
hangover food.
I think I had a
So
salad
yeah,
and
like
a pig-
I might try something like that, like, but Bloody Marys just don't do it for me typically.
Yeah, not a
But
Bloody
you know,
Mary
if you
person.
really jazzify it up and you make it all.
Well, there's a difference in a
might try
good
it.
Bloody Mary and somebody decided to make a Bloody Mary, and since Bloody Mary has tomato juice and Tabasco and pepper in it, that's what they put in it and call it a Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
It's like anything, like any kind of cooking. If you don't love what you're making, you're not going to make a good one. So any place that makes a generic drink is not. It don't matter if it's a Cuban Libra, or if they're pouring up a Budweiser. If they're not into what they're pouring and making, it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't mean for everybody to go silent. Hey, everybody.
Oh, it's okay.
no, I'm still exploring the Buc-ee's in Florida.
Wait, there's a Buc-ee's in
So-
Florida too?
Yeah, there's one near New Smyrna Beach. Great surfing.
Probably way
there.
out in the panhandle.
That makes sense.
I don't know what way out in the panhandle. You mean-
Western Florida
Yeah.
is very different from the main part of the peninsula. Yeah, Rady's laughing because I almost said Wang.
No, just
okay. But yeah, so I mean, I would say the further out you go in the panhandle of Florida, it's they call it Lower Alabama for a reason.
So like Miami. Wait, so like,
No, this would be like.
No. No,
Oh,
is
crap.
like, when I
Pensacola.
hear out
Panama
of the
City.
Panhandle, I think going west.
Yeah, Western Florida.
New Smyrna Beach.
Miami's
East Coast.
Miami's south.
Yeah.
Navarre. So Navarre Beach, Pensacola. What's the army base that's down there?
dude.
Eglin.
Eglin Air
Look
Force.
at-
Yeah, that's all.
Hold on. Time
Tyndall
out.
Air Force Base.
Time
Tyndall Air
out.
Force Base, where I was born.
Time out.
Yeah.
Look at my fucking squad rolling deep with our fucking hats.
Oh
Fuck
shit.
yeah, dude.
Dude.
Alright, we're gonna go. Even though she
I
has-
don't have any more hats right now, but if there's interest in the hats, y'all let me know, and I will get another order in stat.
Can I get
Because
one
look
in
at-
white
look at
and
how
black?
fucking clean our little squad is right now, dude.
Yeah, I need to get. How do you get your hats? This is like, I'm supposed to be the one that knows how to like source materials. And
I have somebody that
apparel, but
he
like,
doesn't even make hats. Like I have somebody that does. He does these are leather. This is a leather patch
Hat,
actually.
yeah.
Quality.
You get that from a small
Quality.
bore?
So that's what like this is also leather on the back here. But I have somebody that does leather work that does
Reminder.
He sources the
Take-
hats.
Take a photo of that, okay?
Yes.
Otherwise,
on
like,
we transfer. Yes.
'cause I'm not-
I remember. I remember.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this out there. A problem I have is if you look at this hat here. Oh, let's get close. I almost have the very end, and it's actually still pretty tight. I have a big giant head.
So,
Dude, I got a
listen,
big old head, too.
wherever,
What are you talking about?
Wherever Steve got these hats, I said it when I got my hat. So, yeah. When I gave Shade Tree his hat, he's like, "Listen, every hat I have is on like the last buckle." And I said, "Well, these hats are a little bit bigger." And he says, "Put it on what you think I am." And I looked at him and put it on like the fourth flip. He's like, "It's not gonna fit my head." When I put it on, it fit him. He said, "Where did you get these hats?" And I said, "You gotta ask Steve." Because they're a little oversized, but they're awesome hats. Hang on, why am I asking? I should just look at it.
Yeah, it was actually so those hats aren't for sale. Well, that's the brand of hat. Like I give them out to people. I might put them on the site like eventually, but the one that Shade Tree wears, I think I told you this, but it says Los Angeles, Georgia, instead of
Oh,
Los
really?
Angeles, PA. So I might actually. It's not a bug, it's a feature. I might just call it the Los Angeles, Georgia hat. And then that's
Los Angeles, Georgia. Yeah, come on.
yeah,
man.
like that's what the title of the
item.
product will be. It's the
Collector's
Los
item.
Angeles. Exactly. Like it's like a penny where Lincoln's facing
Double
the other
stamp.
direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
Dates on it.
yeah. There's like 100 of them left, and everything else has been given away. I've given them away to so many people.
Is there a way you can get
Um,
those to me before next Tuesday, where I can bring them up to the Ohio meet?
Next Tuesday, as in like
Like as in
Well, I'm
3 or
leaving
4 days
Thursday
from
morning.
Send them to straight to Throttle Co, dude.
next
I'm leaving
Tuesday's
Tuesday.
fine. I'm in Mexico on 17th and 18th, but yeah, when we come back, it's fine. Oh wait, shit, 17th and 19th.
I don't leave to the 20th.
You might need to
Okay.
mail them tomorrow.
All right, we'll get them when we get back. I did want to get one for Nicole. And then I wanted
Who's
to have one
Nicole?
to give away. She owns Throttle Company up in Ohio.
She's a third
doing
owner.
that.
She's
Where I'm
actually
doing the
really
meet and greet. That's where she's let me do the meet and greet at her vintage motorcycle company. So they have vintage, they have new Triumphs, Moto Guzzi's, and
Not-
Royal Enfields.
Not Triumphs,
Not
just
Triumph.
Moto Guzzi's and Royal Enfields.
Yeah.
thing, but they have vintage Triumphs, Hondas, Harleys, Yamahas,
Yep.
like from the 70s, 80s, old
I
motorcycles.
think they cut off
Kawasaki,
vintage in like
too.
the mid '80s. Is their cutoff.
I
somewhere
would
there.
say, from what I understand, it's like 81.
I think so.
It floats on to what
But
model
anyway,
it is.
she's got
Yeah.
some nice older bikes that they get restored and then they sell them out of her shop, and she's got a good deal going. Even though she does wear a backpack.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Yeah,
like
right.
if you think she would want one, like I'm working all weekend because I'm going to Mexico and I'll still work in Mexico, but I'll have limited resources. But I'm like prepping orders and the rest of the staff will be here, but I'll have stuff ready to go out on Monday. So
if you could dump me 5 of those where they could get to me, because I'm leaving Thursday morning.
What, the black ones or the gray ones?
The black ones.
The ones that you're wearing?
The ones. So this is the insider hat. So if you can send me the regular hat, that'd be fine.
Yeah, that's more of a like support the Indie Ridge Insider Development Program because it costs me money to give out a lot of gear. So
whatever you get the most of, send them. We're not picky. I just want to show her some thank you with something unique. That because she's letting me do this at the dealership. So.
All right, yeah, that is definitely unique. So I'll send me an address and I'll make a note of it.
Okay. Aaron.
What?
You're there all the time. Give me an address. I'll get you an address.
Aaron, are you going to come out tomorrow for the 3rd anniversary?
Yes, I will be at Throtico tomorrow for the Kickstands and Coffee and the 3rd annual bike show.
So are you going to get laughed out of there now that you've got a real bike? You're a real biker?
No.
You can't show up
So
to
when
the old like vintage motorcycle, Kawasaki, anything vintage, Triumph.
So
the dealer.
The bike show isn't. No, just in general pulling in. No, when I came in on the white ST, everyone came over like birds
Except
of
for
prey.
Nicole.
Well, she wasn't there that day, so she saw it a different day when I went in. She asked me to swing by. She, I think, is trying to plan something, but don't know why she wanted me to talk about it. Anyways, so she got to see the bike when they weren't busy. She sat on it. I don't think she's a fan of the fairing, which is one of the most attractive features of the bike. But yeah, so when I pulled in the day I bought the bike, which was exactly a week after Sid was in Ohio, and we went to Throtico for Kickstand and Coffee, everyone came over and they're like, "Oh man, it looks better in white." But they're like, "Did you really have to go and get the same bike just because she had it?" I'm like, well, the funny thing is, I had actually started the purchasing process on this before she ever even looked for hers.
Bitch.
Yeah, it was like what? It was like 2 or 3 days after I put my deposit down. You're like, "Hey, I bought an ST."
You don't even.
It also doesn't. It doesn't surprise me at least in the least that you got a low rider SD. Sid. Like, I know you had been having some things with your bike where you're like frustrated with it. So like the idea that we know you put miles on your bike. So like the idea that you upgraded makes sense. Like, and the low rider ST, like that just seemed to like be the best fit. So
those 3 cubic inches are huge.
If I had to guess, like of like what bike you were gonna get next, it would have 100% been in that bike.
Well, because she already had the S.
Mm-hmm.
She had
now, if only it came
out, baby.
You know what?
Oh,
And I'm just gonna,
Powell.
I know Dear Leader is not here with us, but if only it came in Midnight Crimson.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I am with her. It would look gorgeous in that color. It is.
Nah.
It's one of those rare shades of red, and usually the darker shades of red, that really shows the shape of the body. Because like, if you look at some of your brighter shades of red, like the first thing that comes to my mind is what Quartz Red or Victory Red, what General Motors calls it. That shows like no shape. It's like some of the your straight whites. There's no depth to it, but like that Midnight Crimson, it pops.
It's not my cup of tea.
But
I'm
I'm a big fan of pearl whites. So like white diamond tricoat or that
Dude,
white
that
sand.
white sand
I'm
pearl?
looking forward to seeing it tomorrow.
If it ain't black, get back.
To the owner of the black Street Glide, you left your headlight on.
Everyone goes out to the parking lot except me.
Wait a minute, I got an Ultra. What are you talking about?
Real quick. So I'm at the gas station the other day. Somebody asks me, "What is that?" And I said, "It's a Harley." They're like, "No, it's like a Honda, right?" I said, "No, it's a Harley." They're like, "That isn't a Harley. It doesn't say Harley." And I said, "No, it's a Harley." Since I have painted it, put the fairing on it, put the fork controls on it, changed the turn signals, changed the back brake. Taking the Rudolph light off the back was probably the biggest thing. Every Harley has the Rudolph nose tail light, the brake light.
Yeah,
And
you
once you
did.
take it off,
It's
it doesn't
true.
look like a Harley.
You
anymore.
did the typical Sportster thing, which is change almost everything on it to make it your own.
Change everything but the Evo.
That's typical
That's
Harley,
Harley, though.
not just the Roadster.
You're gonna need to do
Yeah.
some. Oh well, I know you had talked about doing like either some sort of decal or something for it too, and I am a big fan of the decal they use like on the lowriders with that big drop H and it's kind of outlined. But that I
See,
guess goes back to their racing team in
I-
the early tens.
I personally,
1910s.
I'm a fan of the 3D badge that I think it was the Evos for a couple of years got. Like it didn't say Harley, almost said Harvey Danielson. It doesn't say Harley Davidson on it. It just has the emblem badge just like glued to the side.
Oh, the bar and shield.
Yes, I think that the bar and shield of like a 3D plastic or whatever print that they glue on the side, I think that's very crisp and clean, and I would love.
Pull out a bad example here,
Yeah.
I really like that it does look like a Harley now.
but I am a big
it
fan
makes it
of
unique.
the.
Mhm.
You know what I really
one
while
logo.
Bruiser's looking for that, one thing that I really want to do is get a Indian Challenger.
I hate the
Ooh.
fairing on the Challenger. I
I
love that
hate
bike,
it
but
too.
I hate the fairing.
Just an Indian guy.
My
I hate
guy,
it too.
it's
The
so
fairing.
comfy. It
It
is
is.
so comfy.
Oh, it's a
And I
fantastic
hate the way
bike.
it looks.
Yeah,
I
I want.
So,
I need them to make that bike without the fairing, like make a Road King version of that, and I will.
Yes.
I will sell a testicle to
Nah,
put
dude.
that.
That's
All the
what's
fixed
the Super
fairings.
Chief? Is it the Super Chief that doesn't have the fairing?
I think they're still a little different.
Line does not have any fairings on it, so it's kind of like their sort of version of like I don't know what you want to call it, Softail Dyno. Almost reminds me of like some of the later like mid-sized Victories, but those do not have fairings on them. They have a single headlight, and some of them come with a windshield. The
But-
Super Chief in particular does.
See,
And with those bikes, they're the Thunderstroke. They're not the Power Plus.
Correct. They are the Thunderstroke 111s and the 115s. Like we're on the original Chief. So the only platform that has that Power Plus motor is the Challenger, and then its descendant essentially, which is the what do you call it? The Pursuit, which is basically just like the full dresser version of the Challenger.
see,
I just
go ahead, Sid.
Yeah, you can.
I just really like the you go ahead. I just really like the whole liquid cooled cruiser, and I think that engine has so much potential. But why the heck do they not have another model that has that engine in it with a smaller fairing?
See,
Why?
Take it
I of
Done.
off.
all
Sure.
of the Indians, I think the FTR looks good, and I think the Challenger looks good. Now, I haven't ridden either. I would like the chance to ride both. I will still, at this point though, probably never really like the idea of a full-size touring bagger, just because I don't feel comfortable sitting on them. And I know riding and sitting still in a parking lot space is completely different. I get that, but
Well, the best looking Indian was the Victory Vegas.
Yeah.
That's a weird way to put it down.
Yeah, I don't like it. But no, when they did away with Victory, they shot themselves in the foot.
so I will say that Father
Everybody
Bumper's
says that,
victory
yet the
is.
financials tell a very different story.
Now they're having a hard time with those Indians. It's not. It's gonna be like Harley. Harley nearly went bankrupt 3 years ago, and you would never know it by looking at Harley's financial support reports. Only way to look at it is to look at the European, the Asian, and the Indian market, the actual Indian country market, to see how many places they actually had to close. Which is a big reason why they moved their new smaller Sportster lines to China, because they had to close all their factories in the other countries.
Well, I mean, they stopped being public.
Yeah, they didn't make anything public. You had to look at.
No, like it wasn't a publicly traded company for like a few years. That's one indicator that they're really doing really poor when they buy everything back in house, and then now it's relisted on the exchange.
Oh,
They
Harley?
just started coming back up.
Yeah, well, Harley also gotten a bit of trouble because they were like overvaluing their stock and for a while. I own a few shares of Harley stock, so I want Harley to do well.
Just if you look at where their their board is now. They've gone to a lot of Americans on the board, to a lot of Europeans on the board. I think that shows that they may have been partially bought out in some way.
I'm a big fan of the Harley Davidson one logo.
That
Not
would
this
have
one in particular, but you know.
I like that one.
it's-
Well,
What are you trying
not
to
this
say?
one, but you get the idea. I've got a keychain somewhere of the actual one, but yeah, I've got another one of these. It's the slightly larger one that I'm going to give away as a gift,
Hey, Red Rider's here.
maybe tomorrow.
Hey, Red.
Hey,
That's
Red
Angel.
Rider.
That's my buddy. I interviewed her.
Not
She's
sure yet.
awesome.
She is awesome. Red Rider, I love your content.
She has the most awesome shovel head that ever rolled around the planet. If you haven't seen it, go to her channel, look at her shovel head.
It's
It's
not so much as
absolutely-
seeing the shovel head as it is hearing the shovel head.
That
It's
too.
on a chef's kiss to that shovel head. And it's mostly, I know she'll say it was mostly her dad, but I mean, that's her bike, so she gets full credit.
The Indian Chief Bobber is ridiculously small, is ridiculous amounts of fun for a small bike, but the Chief is a full size. Like, yeah,
From the new
Isn't
chief
it-
or the
isn't
old
the
chief?
big twin?
The bobber, the chief bobber, not the super
Yeah,
chief.
okay.
Yeah,
Because when I think
Yeah.
of the small Indian, I think of
The scout.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
like
Scout-
the worst
Scout-
bike on the
I
planet.
know.
Yeah. No, the new chief line is like somewhere in the 600 poundish like wet weight line, so it's not small.
It's
The-
like
I
in
would
that
say
top bill.
That's something.
The super
It's
chief.
definitely not the same as like the old chiefs, like when Polaris like first brought out the rebranded Indian. Those are like basically touring frame bikes. Like they're they're freaking massive by
Yeah.
comparison. My dad's got a vintage. I've ridden that around, and it's a barge.
I
I
will-
haven't ridden one of the new chiefs, but I think they're a little bit more scaled back from that. Is the idea?
I definitely want
What
to
Indian
test
did do
ride a
right was
super
taking
chief.
that big head off of the front fender. It's the most gaudiest thing.
It's a
Personal
historical
opinion.
thing for them.
Personal opinion,
But you know, the headdress, like in a lot of ways, the headdress is in some it. I think it's a piece of art in a lot of ways.
think
I know
they
not
could use it
everybody
as a
thinks that
better-
way.
It's a vintage. It's a
It is a
vintage
better-
thing. It was on the Chiefs in the 50s, at least like for the last couple of years, which is sort of why they did it.
Yeah. I did kind of forget
Do we
about the
wanna-
super chief for a second there.
What did we forget about?
The super chief, the new Indian platform, the
I know
answer.
Scout Rogue. Wow, yeah, that's quite a departure.
Well, the super
Yeah,
chief
and-
being the answer
the
to the
same thing.
Dynabro stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Scout Rogue is the
The
new
Rogue and
so-
the the 4 went in that direction with the whole like Dynabro like performance like crazy looking thing.
And my friend who's got the fully restored 47 Indian, oh my gosh, that thing is just.
I'll say
He
that's
actually
a
just
vintage, it's a
recently
pass.
converted it to electric start because, lo and behold, that was like the biggest issue he had with it. Sometimes it's not so much getting it kicked, but like if it was warm or hot, that hot start procedure would be a mother.
Anyways, you were trying to say something, Juice, and then we cut you off.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about like if we wanted to go down a route that is very contentious of like which company, Harley or Indian, is more closely tied to their original founding. Obviously, as a Harley owner, you have to say, well, Indian, they went out of business for a while, then somebody had to buy them back, and like they were completely out of business. But I would also, even as a Harley owner, say like, are we really tied to the origins of Harley Davidson? So like,
I
kind of posing that greater question of like, is that even a valid argument anymore?
No,
Like, does
I
that
don't
matter
think
about
so.
like ownership
It's the
60,
question.
80, 100 years ago?
Honda's
Is
the
the
only
question
company that's
even
no time.
valid?
Yeah.
I mean,
What I don't understand.
Well,
Because people
and
think that an Indian, and it's like, well, it's not the original Indian. No, it's not. Does that mean it's not allowed to exist ever again?
Yes.
It just has to be dead and buried forever and ever. No one can ever use
and
that.
that's
it's the intellectual property too, and they
forever.
and
Things
also at
have
the
to
same
evolve
time,
or they die.
yeah.
And that's what nearly happened to Harley. Harley was so adamant about we'll never have a water-cooled engine. We'll never have, anything but an air-cooled twin. And it nearly killed them. If it wouldn't have been for the revival of the Pan America and the new engines,
The Rev
I
Max,
wish
yeah.
they would have kept. I wish they would have kept that those Street 500, that Street 750, because those were awesome engines.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, those
it's a water-cooled engine. We can't have it. That's
Yeah.
not a real engine. We can't have it.
so
Revolution.
Right.
The Revolution.
yeah,
So yeah,
the
those
original
were awesome engines.
Revolutions. Yeah, the original Revolutions have been around for over 20 years now. The V-Rod has, in some ways, kind of become a bit of a cult classic. And I have a feeling that the 500, the 750, are going to kind of do a little bit of the same thing in the next few years. People are going to start bobbing them, people are going to chop them, people are going to make them custom, because right now they're not worth anything. And,
They would make another revival in 20 years.
Okay.
Everybody will
I get a feeling there'll be things. There'll be some interesting things. And also, Harley's been running wet heads on, the full dressers.
Yep.
Specifically the limiteds for almost 10 years now. I've known some people that have had problems with them. I know some people that have not had problems with them.
This hurts to say, but that Road Glide Limited was probably the nicest motorcycle I have ever ridden. Again, I hated it for the first 5 miles I was on it. Once I got it on the highway, that thing was a pristine freaking animal. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Very head-to-head. If it wasn't 10,000 more than my BMW, I would say it would be a direct competitor. But that BMW, I have everything that I have on the Road Glide for $10,000 less.
Well, BMW and Honda's in the same situation here, because they're not strictly a motorcycle manufacturer like Harley Davidson is.
Neither is
Or-
Lara.
Or a
All
t-shirt company that sells motorcycles, if you want.
Yeah.
All right.
But
Well,
more t-shirts than motorcycles.
Honda's also got, Honda is such a diverse company. I mean, how many people have out there have a Honda powered something that's, like small engine kind of thing out there too?
Grom.
all right.
Not just
So-
a Grom,
On a
but I'm
Grom.
talking like a pressure washer or a freaking lawnmower or something like that. And they've got cars, they're robots. They make aircraft. They've made aircraft.
They make a lot for sure. But
And BMW's got, they've got cars, and they're part of a huge company that owns a large portfolio of brands. So they've got that kind of tech that they can pull from too, which is really, I think, why, Honda and BMW, first you wouldn't think, why would they, yeah.
The more you can
BMW.
produce, the more tech you can put. And
Yeah.
if Harley has a hiccup, they're all of a sudden they're in trouble. They're losing money. If BMW has a hiccup, okay, we lost money this year. Let's move on. What tech can we put back into it?
Yeah.
Harley doesn't have that frame. If Harley loses money, they either have to take out loans or they have to cut something from their lineup. And we've seen it. We've seen it year after year. Harley all of a sudden will take a good selling bike and cut it from the lineup because it costs too much to make. Instead of trying to advance it, make technical advances on it, they just go, oh, cut it, costs too much.
Well, sometimes, yeah, and that's not necessarily. I mean, it depends on where you're going to come from a business case on it. So if you're using a platform as development, like a particular model per se, as a developmental test bed, that's one thing, and you're able to spread that around that development cost. Like, yeah, I can see it from a business case, but it depends on where you are financially. If you're just looking at that quarter to quarter numbers and not looking like, okay, 2-3 years from now, this feature is going to cost us less and less and less to add, and we'll be able to put this in there and increase the cost. Like, how many bikes out there have ABS and RDRS and all these other rider aids now? How many bikes out there are full LED lights versus still having incandescents out there? I mean,
yeah.
And that's the advancements you make when you can put more units on the road. You can make those advancements. A lot of that's why motorcycle companies race motorcycles. They don't race them just because they like racing. That's where they make all their technical developments.
Yep.
yeah.
And that's the part of their branch that makes money. If you make money, you have that money to put back into development. Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, they've all done it for years. Red Rider made a good comment. She says there's actually more American iron in an Indian than there is in a Harley now, because most of the Harley parts are made overseas and just assembled here.
Yep.
Mm.
So, it is that time of night. I think it's time for us to bring it to a close. Go around with final
So let's
thoughts.
fight first.
Nah. So yeah.
I'll Rochambeau you.
Yeah, but it is time to bring it down to a close. We've been going at it for longer than typical with our streams. So, we'll go ahead and start with you, Rainey. Closing thoughts?
I mean, if you can't love the one you're with, love the... No, that's wrong. So next week I'll be in Ohio. I'll be in Columbus. If you're there, see me. I also have a new line coming out. I'm going to try something dumb. I'm going to do the Rainey Tries It, where I sample things and tell you what it's like. Next weekend, I'm going to have Seven and Goon. Nope, not Goon. Juice and Aaron, maybe, helping me out. So we'll have a nice little panel, and we'll all compare things and get drunk on screen or test things, either way. But I love you all. I hope to see you in our next video.
All right.
That's it. I'm done now.
Okay. Sentinel?
Yeah. Make sure to plan your trips. Maybe, possibly bring rain gear.
It mayhaps be in the works.
Mayhaps, yeah. And also, yeah, I can't wait to try out some of the things that Rainey's cooking up for the drink testing. It's gonna be awesome. So if you guys can, definitely head over to Throttle Co. next weekend.
Yes,
It's gonna be a lot.
Saturday the 22nd at 11 a.m., I believe.
They start theirs at 9. They open at 9, so I'm gonna say start at 10. That'll give us time to get donuts and go by. My plan is to get a gallon of Dunkin' Donuts coffee and like 2 dozen donuts. If we run out, we'll go get more.
So yeah, they do
we'll run to the
have.
convenience store across the street and get chips for
Yeah,
everybody.
they do have kickstands
That's
and coffee that
Saturday.
happens from 9 a.m. to 12. Typically, they already have coffee and some donuts. But if you wanted to bring more, I'm sure they would be perfectly fine with that.
I told her I'd bring more. Yeah.
Yeah, there's Tim Hortons right around the corner. They're okay.
So,
There's other ones that are better.
Isn't that Canadian? Just kidding.
anything else,
Tim
Sentinel?
Hortons is Canadian, yeah.
I know.
They're
Red
American
Rider's
HQs
on,
here
so
in
I'm just
Columbus.
gonna
So.
So,
That's
anything,
Canadians.
anything else from you, Sid, or was that it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Sorry,
Bruiser,
Sid.
closing thoughts?
Me?
Yep.
Plan carefully. I know there's something we kind of really didn't touch on, but I know depending on who you're riding with, sometimes like I know I ride with a lot of people who don't wear helmets, but check your laws depending on where you're going, and make a safety stop right before you cross state lines if you know you're going to be going into places that might have different laws for motorcycles, and you know, for the more I don't know how I want to put this, but you know, you might need to make a stop and make yourself legal, shall we say, before you cross state lines. That'll be a big thing.
Correct. Some states do require helmet laws.
I
believe
think
Tennessee
everybody
is one of
here,
them.
though. I think everybody here, though, is a regular helmet, right? Regular helmet wearer, either based on the state they're in. Ohio was not a helmet state, so
It's a lot harder to record without one.
that too. But also keep in mind, as hard as your head may be, it is not as hard as the tarmac. Also, as somebody who's had their face reconstructed, it's not fun. So keep that in mind. Check your laws, because things could be very different depending on where you're going.
Very true. Very true. Steve?
I don't want to go off topic. What kind of reconstruction did you get?
Oh, I get like 2 dozen pins and screws in my head. I was in a really bad. I was in a bicycle accident 18 years ago. Next Friday, actually. So they went inside my mouth. I've got a scar from here to here inside my mouth.
So upper and lower maxillofacial.
Yeah, both cheeks. There's 7 screws in my nose. They had to put my left orbital socket back together. I broke my upper palate in 3 places. And, I actually had a dental procedure early this year because the root canals I had done failed, because it's right in that area where I broke my palate. So
Yeah, no, I just say that because I've had upper and lower complete facial reconstruction twice. I've
These
had a
dimples are
cornerectomy. And coming up, and I'm just putting it off, I need to have my entire lower mandible removed and have a prosthetic put in. So,
Wow. Okay.
looking forward to that
Yeah,
one.
that sounds terrible.
Yeah, it sucks.
Gonna cut in real quick, everyone. Goon just made it in to say good morning.
Oh shit. Okay. Hi, Goon.
Hi, buddy.
As you can see, Goon, I struggled, but with some help from Fish, we got the stream up.
He's on that work trip, the work
We-
conference.
we
that has
miss
no
you.
internet.
Somehow we found internet, so you know,
He's
turn off the
standing on it.
Wi-Fi.
He probably climbed some tower out in the middle of the woods to bounce a small signal at the work conference meeting he's at. But Goon, sorry that you couldn't be here, man. We love and miss you. Can't wait to hear from you soon.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, buddy. Love you.
So, but back
We'll
to
have a
you.
lot to talk about when he comes back.
Yeah, back to you, Steve, with closing thoughts.
Gotta ride with the right people. I think that's kind of a big one that we didn't, that makes a really, really, really big difference.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of a small no-brainer, wear fucking earplugs. I don't know how many of you guys actually do, but tinnitus is the worst.
Terrible. Yeah.
Or
You know, that's-
tinnitus, or whatever.
I have it just
But
a little bit, and it's freaking awful.
yeah. So wear earplugs. That's just kind of a general.
What'd you say? Sorry, no, I'm right there with you. I swear I've had it since I was a little kid.
Yeah. And like all the facial reconstruction I've had has made it worse. So it's like, don't fuck around with things you can't get back. And yeah, so in terms of tips, that would probably be mine. But overall, I'm looking forward to go to, what is it called?
Ohio?
Buc-ee's in
Buc-ee's.
Texas.
Buc-ee's, yep. Yep.
Let's-
We'll do a trip, Steve. We'll plan.
yeah. I
So-
think the
San
We'll,
Antonio is awesome.
we'll start in Ohio, we'll go up to Chicago, we'll go all the way out 66 to the St. Monica Pier, pick up Steve, go
Yep.
across Texas to Florida, and then come back up the East Coast.
How about through Memphis? We can all
Great
go
Buc-ee's
to the
raid.
meadery.
We'll hit
We
we'll
can all
hit
go to
every
Barber.
we'll hit every Buc-ee's along the way that we feasibly can manage.
And Hooters.
Oh my god.
And
Yeah, that means I need to
Good
buy.
Forget,
They have good wings.
no, forget Hooters. Their wings suck.
never been
Yeah,
to
No,
one.
no, no.
so-
They have awesome
Skip
taste in
Hooters,
wings.
please.
Yeah, that means I need to buy like probably the Lowrider ST.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
I don't
Another
have.
one.
I don't have a like legit.
Call to
bike
the
right now.
lowrider, join
Oh,
us.
Cult of the Lowrider. Welcome.
Sid, you got to get on making
Yeah.
that shirt.
That
I-
well,
I-
so like
Be a man. Get a road.
So,
Come
so
on.
now you're gonna have to go ahead and release a new line of boots just for lowrider owners, so that way they can all
Yeah,
have matching.
It has to
shoes.
be
Low
Vinlocked.
life's, no, long life's taken.
All right.
What color would you get, Steve?
No.
the
How
vivid
white?
black because it's the least obnoxious. Like I swear to God, they.
All right, we're gonna
Well,
move.
it's
We'll,
like-
we'll take that in the after stream chat. Juice, closing thoughts, man.
Yeah. 1, live fast. 2, don't die young, but also die young. No, really, I think, I don't know, like with trips and keeping it on topic, I am of the thought of like, you have an end goal, but try not to worry too much about the in-between, especially on 2 wheels. Variability is constant. Change is constant. So being adaptive is kind of part of being a motorcyclist. I'm of that opinion of like, you can plan all you want for what you want to do, all the stops and all this, but that's not where my head's at on a trip. I just want to get there, and wherever I need to stop, I always bring gas too. That's a big part of the conversation I think we had earlier today. It was about like, if you're about to run out of gas, that's a problem. But in some, be prepared for change. Maybe that's the best thing.
I think that's a solid thing. Whenever you make a plan, be ready for it to fail and throw it out the window.
Yep.
All right.
But don't plan to fail, but make sure you've got a contingency available.
Oh, dude, plan to fail, definitely. Plan to fail every time.
All right.
You'll make a
Yankee,
plan B and you'll be destined for plan A.
Yankee, closing thoughts?
My best advice on trips is two things. I do the whole thing 100 miles at a time. So even if I'm going 800 miles, 1,000 miles, 500 miles, I go between gas stops. The Scout, as you might know, does not have a fantastic range. But 100 miles is about what I actually can stand on that bike before I need a break anyway. But so when I'm doing that, I just go gas stop to gas stop. I'm not thinking about where I'm trying to get to at the end. I'm not thinking about, how long it's going to take me to get to that, end destination or at the end of the day. I'm just focusing on making that next 100 miles. That's all I care about. And you can do the whole trip that way. But my other advice when it comes to long trips is like, yeah, you do a little bit of planning to try to make it feasible. But don't overthink it. Don't think too hard about it, because if you're anything like me, you're just going to find ways to try and talk yourself out of it and freak yourself out, and just go for it. Point your bike in the vague direction that it needs to go and just send it. Yeah, as far as other notes, I have two. Rainey, what makes you think that I don't like booze? Where did this come from?
Are you coming too?
Unfortunately, I don't think I can come to Ohio this weekend, but I can drink and be there in spirit.
So we will do it again in
Heyo.
I think this would be a great
Be there
thing.
in spirits.
Yes, October we will do it again. Promise you.
Yeah, well, yeah, I got a conflict there too. But then the other thing is that for those very few of you who might follow me on Instagram, and some people here know about this, I do have a bit of a modification / add-on coming to my bike that should hopefully be there very, very soon. And we here in Yankee Land are very excited about that. Let's just say that.
It's 10 of 10.
Yep. So,
All right. And then I'll close this out. Sorry. Did you have anything else, Yankee? I didn't mean to cut you
no, I
off.
was just gonna say, stay tuned. That's literally it.
Yep. And then I'll close out with something we didn't really touch on. Let the people you trust know your location. Share your location with them when you're traveling, especially if you're traveling alone. And if you plan on meeting with people, let them know your location. And
This falls under don't die.
this does fall under don't die. And it's just so if something happens, they know where you're at. They might be able to come swing by and help you. Or if there's someone in the area that can help you, they can help get everyone in contact. And just love one another and treat everyone well. Because we could all take our last road trip.
I do have a final thought that just occurred to me, actually, about trips.
Mm-hmm.
Short one. When you pull into a gas station, do yourself a favor, eyeball it, assess it, and try to find the longest singular line running distance you can at that particular gas station, because you never know when you might need to use unconventional tactics to get a bike going.
I was a little targeted.
Barry doesn't have that one anymore.
I was a little targeted, but I get it. Sometimes you have a dead battery in your moped and you got to bump start it.
It was targeted with luck, and you know that.
No.
I know. But
I still tell people that story. It's like my favorite thing that happened this summer.
it was entertaining for sure.
It
But
was pretty legendary.
everybody be good to each other, and we'll see you all in the next live stream.